just like, because you gotta admit, their big AAA shit has really put them on the map more than ever before, right? Their exclusives, their big first party shit, that shit propelled PlayStation on a whole new level. If Sony sees that as like, yo, we gotta double down on this AAA shit, fuck these indies, the real money based on what we're seeing and what people really want these AAAs, then just say so. But if you're gonna double down on that, you better be producing and building your studios to produce more than just 2 games a year. Like we ain't trying to hear like Santa Monica. They only made really one big AAA, which is God of War, right? Let's be honest. You can't do that if that's gonna be your plan, right? If you're gonna want big AAAs, then Santa Monica needs to go back to the days of the PlayStation 2 where you release 3-4 big AAAs in a generation. You know, Naughty Dog needs to go back to making 3-4 AAAs. Guerrilla needs to do more than just one Horizon Zero Dawn. And you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna do that, fine, tell us, and then okay. You know, if you still buy a PlayStation, alright, you buy it knowing what they plan to do. But some of this shit is spooky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You can see it. You can tell. There definitely has been, like, PS4, we would be having this discussion. And I mean, as far as like some of these acclaimed indies, not like, especially from super giant games, like what the fuck? How is Hades still not on PlayStation? The fuck is going on? Or
Among Us, like, yo, I didn't even realize that. Like, I didn't really play Among Us, but I know it's very popular, and I guarantee a lot of PlayStation dudes would do that, right? When Jack said like, yo, Among Us is not in PlayStation, I'm thinking, you know what? He's fucking right. How the fuck is Among Us not on PlayStation? Like, how? Like, how did Yoshida not go out there with his bag and be like, yo, put that shit on PlayStation? Like, you need this game on PlayStation, like, today. Like, here you go. In fact, not only that, we're going to go after Alexandria Ocasio and be like, yo, we're going to make a special bundle with your face on the thing. Because, I mean, didn't she, like, get, like, a stream of, like, 500,000 people watching her?
Oh, yeah.
A fucking a congresswoman getting Twitch streams, like 300,000 views. I'm like, oh, shit. Cortez out here doing her thing. Like, yo. Like, that shit's huge. Like, her, what is it? All the, like, there's a bunch of Congress people playing fucking a game for, like, for some charity. And she got, like, over 300,000 views live on Twitch. I'm like, yo, that shit's crazy.
Yeah, and as much as people try to say that game is losing popularity, they full of shit. Nah. Because, yo, when people stream them big YouTubers and big Twitch streamers streaming that game, I see them chats is lit up in here. You know what I mean? So,
yo, this is crazy. Man, anyway, yo, so the stream is live. What up, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? It's your only friend in these YouTube streets, Porter Rock 77. You know, we're gonna kick this shit live. We got some great topics to talk about. Some feelings might be hurt. It is what it is. But you know we gotta preach truth, right? Right, Optimus? We always gotta preach the truth, right?
Facts.
That's
100%.
It. That's how it is, right? So before we get into these topics, let me go down a little bit of roll call. We're gonna start out with the Messiah, the voice of Xbox, the man still trying to figure out what 52 CUs mean.
Hey.
He said, hey, okay. Well, I get, and that's it. That's all you're gonna get. You're gonna get hey. You alright, brother? You ready? You ready to kick it?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I just ate, so yeah.
Oh shit. You know the community's waiting for what craziness you're gonna say today.
Oh, okay.
They're just waiting for whatever. Right? Listen, don't hold back. Whatever's in your head, let it go. Say it. The community is dying to know what's in your brain right now. Right?
Oh, the community. Okay.
The community, right? Okay.
Yeah.
My man Jay Bari. What's going on, Jay Breezy? The man. What is it? The most famous lisp?
Best lisp on YouTube. You know the vibes, man.
What's going on, brother?
Yo, what's good, man? Yo, y'all missed y'all voices, so I had to come back, man. But what's good, everybody? No, I'm joking. Man, yo, it's gonna be, my man P Rock set up a good show here, man. It's gonna be a very fun one. We got, you know, a very notable, legendary guest.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, man. Hey, yo, shout out to my man Coach. I ain't see Cole in a minute too, man. Yo, Cole, what's good, man? Everything good?
Yeah, everything good. I'll be checking y'all out, giving all them spoilers every Saturday, but it's good.
That's Persona, by the way.
Yeah, it's mainly Persona, but yeah, I'll be checking y'all out, Jay. Facts.
All right, so that's awesome. I'm glad you're rocking out with us, man. Glad to be back. Oh, damn, already a super chat. Optimus Code. He says gaming from the inside out. He said Xbox is the best box, and I am the second best bot. Oh shit, you might take over. The way Smooth is going, you might end up being the best bot. I don't know. My man's hurting, bro. My man Smooth is hurting. He's hurting out in these streets, right? And of course, we got, the people who try to argue development. Yo, Code, I saw that argument you had with that average gamer dude. Yo, I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, man. I'm like, Optimus.
Yo, my lunchtime is dedicated to Code and what
he's hell
tweeting,
yeah, he has the best Twitter account.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a stack, yo. I just be scrolling.
Bro, something 8 taught me. He was like, man, some people just not worth your time. And I looked at what he said, and I looked at how he tried to twist what I said, and I muted him and moved on.
What's funny is you even explained to him you combine multiple things that had nothing to do with each other, and you try to make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense, the things he combined. And he didn't get it. He doubled down on it. I'm like,
he doubled down on it, yeah.
But I was waiting for him, like, in about 5 more tweets, he's gonna challenge Optimus to a fight. Watch. but you didn't let that happen. You were gone and muted him. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, man.
I'm too old to fight, man. All I do is shoot and stab, Rock. Shoot and stab. I'm way too old to be fighting.
Oh, shit. Well, glad you're here, man. Glad we're about to rock out. And, of course, we got a special guest. What was it? The Pony. No, I'm going to let him do it. Hey, yo, Jack Move, what's good?
What's good, man?
Let him know. No, who you are again? The what?
Man, I don't even know, man. Sony been tripping, man.
He don't want to damn it. He don't want to do it. He's like, he can't. Man, they can't get it.
Sony been tripping, man. I don't know, man.
You might retire. You might give up that commissioner title to somebody else. Like, hey, yeah, that's it, man. Commissioner Gordon's done. I'm retiring. He's like, fuck Gotham. Joker keeps coming out of fucking prison. Then you got the weirdos. Like, I'm done. Batman ain't solving shit, man.
Yeah, man. How y'all doing?
Man, chilling, brother, man. I'm glad. So if everybody wants to know, I got Jack Move here because when we hit a special topic, of course, we're going to get all his input on every topic. But I definitely want him to address a particular issue PlayStation's going through. And I think he covered it the best. And I wanted him to present that to the 60 Frames No Lag audience and stuff like that, right? Now, of course, the chat's flowing. Hit the like button. Before we get into the serious PlayStation topics, I got to kick off with some fuckery. I got to kick off with some fuckery. That's just why people love that about me, right? For whatever reason, this little thing that I'm showing right now got people triggered. I've been verbally accosted. I mean, some of the most atrocious name calling that I have ever seen, simply because I simply said Nintendo's doing better than Xbox, which is not a lie. Like, am I lying here? I didn't lie, right? And Jackmo, you're the guest. See, maybe Jackmo, I need you to set me straight, right? Right now, you the realest dude, and you keep it jiggy. Right? You hold nothing back, sir. Right? So see if my logic is wrong. I need you. See, my dudes, Jay Barry, Jay Barry, Optimus Cole, they got my back. I know they got my back. Right or wrong, they got my back. I need you to set me straight and see if my logic is fucked up, right? So you see the evidence I presented, right? In 2020, Nintendo,
yeah, I see that.
Yeah, you see that, right? Nintendo made more money in revenue than Xbox. This is gaming revenue, right? Now here's what I'm thinking. I'm like, all right, hold up. Let me wind this back, right? Nintendo had to start over in 2017, right? Because the Wii U failed. It wasn't selling as much, right? So Nintendo released the Switch in March 2017 to reestablish a new console, new platform, and rebuild their fan base that they lost with the Wii. So far, I'm right? Or am I making that up? I'm okay. So it's okay, cool. So since 2017 to 2020, Nintendo hasn't really done much other than double down on their Switch with exclusives and whatever third-party exclusives they can nab and put on their platform. But things like services, they're not really good at. Hell, they don't even have achievements yet. Am I bugging out? Or did they finally fix that?
Nah.
So, do they have in-game voice chat, party chat? Did they fix that? I'm not sure.
No, sir.
So they don't give a fuck about that. They're like, yo, this is our platform. Here are the games. We're going to give you the best games out there, right? and we're gonna cater to the people who buy a Switch. The only big thing they did since the launch of the Switch was release the Switch Lite. So that's pretty much Nintendo, right? Over the last 4 years. Am I missing anything?
No, that sounds good to me.
That's pretty much Nintendo over the last 4 years, right? And nobody really gives a shit that they are lacking in services, right? They actually get away with that shit. Am I right?
Absolutely.
In fact, the closest thing to a service they did is that bullshit online where they only charge $20, and really, that's really the closest thing to service they really provide to gamers, right? And that bullshit eShop. Am I wrong or am I fucking out?
Garbage ass service. They locked off the old school games that you can play to the service now, which is smart in their case because everybody is subscribing to it, but nobody playing online. But if you want to play a Nintendo or a Super Nintendo game, you got to subscribe to that goddamn service.
Okay. And because of how they designed the platform, the Switch, it's not backwards compatible to the Wii or to the Wii U because those are disc-based platforms. So it's not like you could insert a disc into the Switch. So backwards compatibility in terms of what you bought on the Wii U or the Wii, irrelevant. Am I wrong on that one?
Nope, you're correct.
And no one gives a fuck. And then also Nintendo, they're not even trying to hear about putting their games on PC. They will laugh at you if you even bring it up. Hell, they'll probably ban your account if you even tweet them. And nobody has a problem with that either. Am I wrong on that one?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So that's Nintendo. Now let's look at Xbox. They launched Xbox One in 2013, and they built their fan base. Granted, nothing compared to PlayStation, but in their own right, they built their fan base, right? Then in 2017, they did a mid-gen refresh with the Xbox One X, so they doubled down on their fan base. And they released Game Pass that year, right? They also started putting their games on PC. By that time, they bought Minecraft. They also bought Havoc, to which now they license it out to the industries to include PlayStation. They bought Simply Gone. They bought PlayFab, to which, again, they license it out to the industry. They put Game Pass on PC. They put their games day one on PC via Steam. Not only that, they even released timed exclusives on PC before they even their own console. Right? Gears of War Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Am I bugging out here? They got over 18 million Game Pass subscribers. They sell games on PC. They did all this stuff. And yet, at the end of the day, Nintendo made more money. What am I missing here? What happened?
Xbox ain't got no games.
Jack move. Can you help me out here? Am I bugging out? Am I fanboying? Or are we... Am I fanboying? Did I just come up with bullshit?
Sound like facts to me, shit.
What happened? Like, how did Microsoft get lapped by a company that only does games? No services, right? They don't put their games on PC. They had to start over, which reestablishes the fan base, and yet somehow Nintendo ended up making more money. How?
And no back compat. Don't forget that. No
backwards compat. They're not selling old games. The only way they're selling old games is by re-releasing it for $60 at that. Mm-hmm. And no one has an issue. None. No issue. No issue. What the fuck happened, Jackmo? Jackmo, you're the guest. Let me know what happened. Like, am I bugging out? Explain this. Explain the math.
Because I really got mad at you tweeting that?
Yeah, like Jackmo, I know you hear it on the streets more than anybody else. Oh, this is the future. Game Pass is the future. Selling games day one PC is the future. Sony's lagging behind. They're gonna see all the money Xbox makes. Where the fuck is the money?
And they made less money than
Nintendo
that only got one. Okay,
you see what I'm going through?
Yeah.
You see, that's all I try to present to the community. If Xbox is supposedly making all this money and this is the future, how did you get lapped up by Nintendo, who's not even doing a fraction of the shit Sony's? They don't even have their own like internal streaming service for them. I think they have it in Japan, and it's like 2 games. They don't have like their own Nintendo Now or Nintendo Game Pass. They don't have that shit. They don't have backwards compatibility at all. You can't play your Wii U or Wii games on that motherfucker. You got to rebuy everything. And like Jay Barry says, to even buy Super Nintendo, you got to subscribe to the service to even have access to buy those games.
Well, once you sign up for their little online thing, you get all those games free. Well, the ones that they have available, you get them free.
And can you buy any of them?
No,
they just got to. It's just the one that's part of the package.
It's pretty much like a rental type thing.
Okay. Oh shit! But am I bugging out? So like this whole Microsoft strategy, is it already predetermined to be great, or are these people hoping it's great because they really got nothing left to hope for? Like, help me out here. And you know I got to switch. You know.
Yo, P-Rock, I'm gonna tell you something.
What's up?
Even the Xbox fans and fanboys don't like what Microsoft is doing. They're just going along for the ride because they can't talk about Xbox in a bad light. They want Xbox to strive. So they're gonna keep it. Hey, Xbox is doing great. Game Pass. They don't like none of that shit. They don't like the games going to PC. They don't like enough of what Microsoft is doing. But they don't want to paint the picture that everything is all right. And I mean, just listen to all these dudes how they talk, bro.
So they not meme where the buildings burn. They're like everything's fine. They them dudes.
Exactly.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Hey, yo, shout out.
Jay Barry's right. I mean, as soon as they're going to talk about what they have going for them. And right now, it's Game Pass. I mean, they're mad that Sony and maybe Nintendo to a point selling games for $60, $70, even though the CFO of a couple of companies have come out and said, yeah, you all better get ready for that. So they don't want to have to pay anything because I just figured out they're broke. You know, there was a song that came out years ago. If you ain't got no money, take your broke ass home. And they're broke. And they're complaining about the economy and the pandemic, and Sony shouldn't be selling their games for this amount of money. And and Jay Barry, I agree 100%. They're just going to concentrate on what Microsoft is doing, which is Game Pass. But like you said, P-Rock, they're in third place. Now they're not far behind. 12 to 11.6. They're not far behind, but at the end of the day, they're still last. You know, if you're not first, you're last. So, but they don't look at it like that. Microsoft has always looked at it as it's a big pie. We're going to take a little bit of it. Everybody else can go about their business. That's just the way their company has functioned since like 1987. So, but I agree with Jay Barr. You'll see it online all the time. You know, Microsoft does something. I mean, they bitch about $70 games, but as everybody saw, they released a $100 headset, and those clowns went out and bought it. But they complain about $70 games. So
they complain about $70 games, but was hyping up a $500 headset today. But when it came to Ratchet and Clank Return, they was like, "This is bad for the gaming industry. Why is Sony doing this?" But Microsoft announced a $500. It's like, yo, this is the bee's knees. It's about quality.
Yeah, and it's about them not having access to the game. It's Ratchet and Clank is, I mean, whether you play it or not is irrelevant. Is they don't like that they can't play it on their platform. That is what is going on here. And that's what's been going on for about 4 years. They don't want to have to go out and buy another platform to experience the same type of game. So that's why they keep talking about Bethesda. I'm like, well, that's not a very good comparison because Bethesda's RPGs are not, over the last 4 to 6 years, they have been lacking, including Dishonored or whatever that was called. That was trash. I mean, it didn't sell well. The Fallout 76 did not do well. This is according to them, to Bethesda. This is why they didn't care about the sale. But it's a group of people that's online, and no matter what, like Jay Barr said, they don't like what Microsoft is doing. But hey, if this is what they got to do to keep the doors open, because all my friends are online. I mean, they actually have friends like online. I mean, I don't fathom that. But because you can't talk to them. If you get into a car wreck, they're not gonna, have a prayer visual, send you blood, nothing like that.
I told you, my man, come out with them takes. They're not gonna attend your funeral service.
It's trash. But it's them. It is them because there's too much. No, there's too much of the whole thing. Like I said, the whole thing bitching about $70 games while jigging up and chubbing yourself up to a $100 headset that you have to pay extra to get Dolby sound is that contradicts itself. And but then when you call them out, and everybody here has seen it, when you call out their hypocrisy, these clowns say, "Oh, you're mad, you're upset, you're hating." Like, you're a goddamn hypocrite. So shut up.
All right,
Craig, I think you are upset, man. What's wrong?
My man. Damn. Okay.
Oh no! Well, my shake don't taste that good. That's what's wrong.
What the?
Yo, Optimus, your friend came back. Optimus,
right.
King Capper himself,
Right.
the milk dud head dude came back and so this man is loving. He is loving to pay $500 for a headset, but no man complaining about $70 games. He complaining about everything else. But this dude out here talking about $500 getting sticker shock. Come on, guys, this is about quality. Sit your bald head ass down. I'm sorry. Right,
These dude, man, yo, this is crazy. Yo,
I've never met that dude a day in my life.
Yo, Smooth, Jack.
You don't know? I thought you knew him. Real talk. My bad.
Yo, Jack, move.
No.
Yeah, what up?
Yo, is it like? Do you feel the gaming community is getting worse? And what I mean by worse is now gamers are being made fun of because we can afford $70 games. Like, now it's a joke to have money and be able to buy shit. Like, that's not the point where we at now.
I just feel like the community getting a little bit more stupid, man. Like, I don't know.
What the fuck is going on?
It's just weird. It's just weird activities going on. I just don't understand it a lot of times, Joe. That's why I don't even get into Twitter wars like I used to, or like maybe the comment section beefs, because it's like I just assume everybody's like getting more stupid. I don't know, man. The things that people try to bastardize, and then like they try to. I ain't even really with the console war shit no more because Phil Spencer ruined game, and I'm just gonna put it like that. He, if you think about it, bro, like he really dictating how. I don't know how this dude got to the position to where he pretty much dictating everything that's going on in the gaming industry right now
for no reason.
And they was losing. They was losing. That's like, how the fuck did he get to the point where? He's saying games should be everywhere and everybody should play everything, but now they reeling that back. Now he trying to keep his shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it, bro. I really don't get it. I don't understand.
Yo, me and Jay Barry.
I just think he says what he feels he needs to say. Like he said, a game like Horizon Zero Dawn would not do well on that platform, and he was saying that because people were screaming, "Where's our Horizon Zero Dawn?" So and again, they damage control for him. Okay, they were like, well, Phil says it won't work, then it won't work. I mean, they had plenty of podcasts on that, but I don't disagree with that. They're still losing, but the way they look at it is, as long as they can get a piece of the pie or a piece of the chicken, whatever, they ain't got to have the biggest piece. They just want enough to eat off of, and then they're happy. But I mean, the rebranding of the Microsoft Game Pass. Now they're just going to call it Game Pass. They're setting that up. The fact that they have talked to Sony about putting Game Pass on their PlayStation. Sony said no, one time. That doesn't mean they won't go back and approach them again. Okay, so, that eventually will come. But I don't think he ruined gaming. I just think he can only take the stuff so far, and it's pretty much
he's ruining it. I agree with one.
He's changed a lot of narratives though. Like the shit he said, it's changed a lot of narratives, and people just I don't know. I feel like what Jay Barr was saying, like how. I feel like these gaming companies really be listening to dudes on Twitter that be trolling, like real shit. Like that's a good idea.
Xbox for sure. They listen to the troll. Yo, Kismu said he wants to come in too. P-Rock.
Oh, does he? Let me see. Tell him to jump into the Discord.
Okay.
In fact, he already has rights. He could just hop in. I gave him rights.
He said he got smoke for Craig. I don't know what Craig did to this man.
Tell Smooth.
I did nothing to him.
Tell Smooth to jump in. He should be able to jump in.
Don't back down now, Craig. Don't back down.
I have not said nothing to him, but if he wants to go toe to toe with the great one, we can.
Smooth.
Let him know. Get that man this shit.
Smooth, if you're here, you should. Yo, Smooth. If you can't jump in, hold on, Craig, hold on. So, hey, Smooth. Hey, if you should have access to my Discord. If you can't get in the podcast and jump in the general, and then I'll pull you down into the. into the stream.
Yo,
The last time he invited me on his podcast, and it's cool. I don't have an issue with him.
He picked the worst time to jump in too. This man sold his PS5. We about to beat his legs. Hey, come here.
The video was lame, though. I'm trying to figure out why he did that video.
That make no sense. Yeah, I mean, the shock value. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Like
smooth,
he owns like
smooth as the entertainer genius.
He is. He owns 3 Xboxes. Like for what?
We here.
Right, damn. So see, I knew you could jump in.
Beat your legs in.
Smooth, get it off your chest, but you gotta say it with your chest.
Yes.
Say it with your chest.
Craig, can we
hold on. Before we start the main event, let me do Max City Entertainment. He says showing some Xbox love, big fella. No doubt, appreciate it. And we got your champion Kid Smooth up in here. All right. And then where he goes, we got Carlo Crespin. What's up? He says, keep doing the Lord's work, bro. I appreciate it. Hey, I need some likes. I got over 200 people. I ain't got the likes. I got the best bot. He about to give Craig that work. He's gonna drag the shit out of Craig right now. You know when Kid Smooth blocked me on Twitter. Like I'm blocked. You know what I'm saying? So you know if he's here, he's about to let loose. I'm letting you know now. You know, and you know what's funny? That shit broke my heart because he's my favorite Xbox podcaster. So when he blocked me, that shit hurt.
Why he block you? What happened?
I don't know. Like I thought me and Smooth were cool. Like I love this shit.
It was a temporary block, and I think it was relative to the Bethesda thing. Because everybody was hitting me with that stupid.
Smooth, but you know me and you cannot put me in a group as them.
Temporary block, like 15 dudes, people I was in DMs with, and I had to unblock them because I'm in DMs with them. So that was it.
You cannot put me in the same box as the rest of the dudes. The rest of the dudes, they're trolls. Portorock, man, he's doing Portorock shit. You know, he is who he is. You know I support your shit. You know I was supporting your Xbox shit, right? You know, I always say, Smooth. Yo, when Smooth took on black female Twitter, I'm like, this dude is king. Because only this dude could go toe-to-toe with black Twitter. He did. He did.
I was crying.
But I backed him on that. What he said, I thought, he started.
Oh, yeah, I backed him up. I'm like, yo, you do your thing.
Craig, don't back down now, Craig.
Okay, but anyway.
I did. That's the truth. I mean, what's going on, Smooth? You got beef with me or something, bro?
Hey, this is a warning. Shit's about to pop off.
Yeah.
This is not a test. This is live. The emergency broadcast system is live. Get in the bunkers, because Smooth is here. He's about to unleash the nuclear option. Ready? Go ahead, do your thing, Smooth.
Yeah, all right, Craig. Do you not understand? Why do you keep reeling back these headsets? Do you realize $100 for a headset is relatively cheap? So when you go into a store when you buying headsets for a console, $100 for a headset is like equivalent to buying a $40 game. So like, I don't know why you're making those comparisons. And then you're spewing back this whole, you gotta pay extra to use Dolby Atmos. You gotta pay extra to use Dolby Atmos regardless of what headsets you're using, whether it be Turtle Beaches, Steel Series, Playtronics. You gotta still pay for Dolby Atmos if you want to use that version for your audio software on your Xbox. Like, I don't know if there's something you're not understanding, but you keep using that as like some sort of jab that Xbox is charging you extra, and that's not the case. Factually, Xbox gives you about 3 options. It could be more. 3 options for you to choose as your standard audio device. You have the option of Dolby Atmos, which you got to pay Dolby for a one-time license. You got the option of DTX, which is another form of sound. I don't know how much that costs. I haven't tried it. And then you got their stock free version of 3D audio called Windows Sonic, which comes on every Xbox, and that's this default until you elect to switch to another audio service. Why is that hard to understand? I don't understand how that's a problem, that a third party has a service there that they charge for. Xbox gives you the option to use that. You're not stuck with just Xbox version if you're not a fan of Windows Sonic. Maybe you like Dolby Atmos better. Maybe you like DTX. I don't understand what's the problem, the disconnect. What's going on?
Are you finished?
I'm finished. on that point until you say something else stupid.
He said, "Are you finished or are you done?"
Okay, Jerry.
Here we go. Okay.
The fact is you have people bitching over $70 games, and you've seen it. You have seen it. And the same people that are bitching over $70 games run out like a bunch of bitch ass coons and spend $100 for a headset. Now, one is software and the other one is hardware. And the fact that Dolby charges extra is a bitch move on Dolby. Now, I didn't say it was a bitch move on Microsoft, but the fact that, oh yeah, you can go out and spend $69.99, my favorite number, $69, for a pair of Dolby headsets. So again, whether the headset is good or bad is irrelevant.
Hold on, Craig. Hold on, because when we was talking about it, I was like, "No, Craig, that ain't on Microsoft. That's on."
But that's what I said. Yeah, I said that's on Dolby.
You told me, you was like, "Then they shouldn't have put it on the box."
Yeah, they shouldn't have put it on there. Then that's horrible. But again, the fact is that you have a group of people complaining about $70 games. And that same group, that same physical group of people tweets out what a great idea it is for this $100 headset. That's a bitch move. Again, it's their money. It's their money. It's their money.
It's not a fair comparison, dude. You're $100 headset. It's not equivalent to a $70 game. Like $70, like $100 headset is cheap. It's cheap, so it's not that like that's like being like you're picking different things that cost different prices. Like,
okay.
You're about a $70 game. Niggas has been paying for $60 for a game for over 10 years. So that's why, and when you have blame the industry. Now, don't blame fans for being mad at $70. Blame the industry. You know why I need to blame the industry? Because they all didn't move at the same time like they did during the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. When those games went up, the whole entire industry went up at the same time. Actually, Microsoft was slow. Microsoft was the last one to move from 50 to 60 because their first party titles were still $50 during the next gen cycle. So here we go. This time you have a select few. I'm sorry, 2K, Activision, Sony. If everybody would have went Ubisoft and everybody would have went on, you would have less complaints because nobody would have a choice. But now it exposes the greedy guys, and I'm sorry because Sony is one of them. They may not be greedy, but they look greedy at this point. And now when you look at the games that are coming out, I mean, $70 is $70. I mean, $60 work, but that extra $10 at this point, I mean, it's $70 now. I, to this day, still haven't purchased not one $70 game. I refuse. I won't buy it.
Well, the top selling game on Xbox.
Well, how are you playing 2K then, Smooth? Did you get a code?
I got I bought Diller got a review code when they gave him his Xbox, and I bought his for 30.
Hold on, Cole. Let me
hold on, Craig. So
all right, go ahead.
Yo, they hustling review codes out there on Xbox? Oh shit.
Oh, so you saying, Smooth, you're gonna abandon the 2K series if you can't get a code going
forward? I'm a 2K fan. I only got it because there's no new NBA Live.
What if NBA Live is $70?
I mean, Rod, did you not do a hot take on the most popular or the hottest sold or the #1 game on the Xbox was a Call of Duty game and it's $70? I mean, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, kids.
They count the Xbox Series as individual or the Xbox as a whole?
Bring it down a notch. Bring it down a notch. Okay. $70 for a game. If you're going to complain about that, not you personally, but then you turn around and you pay $100 for a headset.
Oh my God.
That's a bitch move.
No, it's not.
Okay. We agree to disagree. Grown-ups can agree to disagree. Okay.
How is buying a headset, which is at a set price, a bitch move, because you complained about a game going up an additional $10?
If you ain't got no money, take your broke ass home.
Oh shit! Wow.
Shit is true.
Wow. All right. So I mean, I'm sorry, but it's
you don't have to be sorry.
It's a dumb take.
Yo, Smooth. So Smooth. Do you suggest getting Adobe Atmos?
Do I suggest getting Adobe
on the headphones?
I do.
The headphones?
I do. It's fabulous. If you can't get a full
it's a nice feature, but I mean, personally, I can go without it. I don't see the thing is I have it because the headsets comes with 6 months free, but Windows, before I had Dolby, I was using SteelSeries and Windows Sonics is fine. 3D audio is fine with that.
Because, like I said, if you want the best, you're going to have to pay extra, right? So, if, say that 6 months is up and you do want to continue using that Dolby Atmos, you want the best quality. You can compare that to a PlayStation game costs $70. If you want the best, you got to pay for the best.
Okay. That is sort of all right. Why don't we do apples to apples? Don't PlayStation have their own audio solution, and you have to get their headphones to even use it, which is technically, was it $100?
That's not true. No, you can. It works with any headphones.
So the Tempest audio works with every headphones, right?
Yeah, it works with anyone.
Sony plans.
But they don't charge you for it.
Sony plans to expand it to devices.
How many other options are on PlayStation for audio options? How many audio options you got for PlayStation when you buy your headsets?
You can get any headset you want if you get the right adapter.
No, but how many the source, the service? Like, I mean, other than Tempest, whatever.
No, it's only Tempest. That's the only way.
So Xbox has options like PC, and other options may charge like on PC. But that's a problem because they have options that may charge. You don't have to use those options.
So let me ask a question. If you buy a third-party headset, would Dolby Atmos work on PlayStation, but via third-party?
No, because they don't have it.
Well, the license would cover it, Rock. Is just not available on Play. Like if PlayStation allowed the Dolby Atmos headphone app on their system, your license would cover for PlayStation as well. It's lifetime.
No, what I say, but would the games work though? Like, are there PlayStation games that uses Dolby Atmos?
No,
nope, they don't. Not on.
Well, there are. So, like the Tomb Raider games was encoded in Dolby Atmos, but again, you have to have a system that supports it, but
like an actual sound system, like Dolby built-in.
The game itself, I think there was a list of like 9 or 10 games that had Atmos support, and at least like 4 or 5 of them was multi-plats.
Oh wait,
so without the stuff, you're not going to hear it.
And my point is simple. My point is simple. If you're going to bitch and moan about paying $70 for anything, forget about games. Why are you jumping up and down and chubbing yourself up to a $100 headset?
Hold on, like Craig. This is what he's trying to say.
I understand what he's trying to say. Like I said,
hold on,
man can agree to disagree.
So Craig, let me ask you this. If someone complained about $70 for a game, they think it's too much to pay $70 per game.
Right.
But that same person can find a 77-inch LG CX OLED for $150. Would you tell that person, well, if you can't pay $70 for the game, that's too much for that OLED?
I would say no. I would say the same thing. If you're going to complain about $70 for one thing, but you're willing to go out and pay more for something, why are you complaining about the $70? I mean, look, wait a minute. Hold on. If we go to Jeff Ruby's, if I take you to Jeff Ruby's, if you come to town, I say, Cole, let's go to Jeff Ruby's, and I'm sitting up there. All right, okay, I know, that's fine. And I say, damn, man, that porterhouse is $55. But hold on, Cole. But this big chicken over here, is $99.99.
Let me hit the pause button real quick. Hold on. Let me hit the pause button. Shout out to Chris Righteous, who's enjoying popcorn along right away with me. This is some good popcorn right now, dude. Some good motherfucking popcorn right now.
I want Cole to confirm that Dolby Atmos doesn't work for all games.
Hold on, real quick. And Show on. Shout out to my boy Show. What up, bro? He said I pay $8 for my Dolby license. All right, continue.
Hey, hold on. Before Jabari, no, Dolby. Some games are made to specifically take advantage of Dolby Atmos. Dolby Atmos, like HDR, enhances all game sounds, but there's games specifically made with Dolby Atmos in mind. So
they look at it like ray tracing.
I get you now.
No, Craig, I understand that. I understand that.
I don't know because you put yourself in the trap. All right. So, all right. You keep complaining about headphones.
Hit the like button!
How many games do you plan to buy in a year at $70 versus how many headphones you plan to buy in a year at 100.
Smooth saw BG comment. You cheating, Smooth. You cheating.
I've been trying to get it out, but he was talking, and then Barry had to. I mean, not Barry. Porter Rock had to do his shout outs and stuff like that. But
BG Smooth lawyer. BG Smooth lawyer. Man,
Jack, that's a fact, Jack. Yo, I saw BG.
He be helping him out a little bit, man.
No, BG's in here though.
That's that weapon wheel love, man. You know what I mean?
But I don't. The truth is, Smooth, I do not know.
You don't know. So I mean,
no. You're asking me how many games I'm going to pay $70 for? I don't know. I don't know what games are going to be set. Hold on. I don't know what games are going to be $70 that I want.
So on average, let's say they in 2021 they drop on 5.
Okay, now you're explaining. I just answered your question. I don't know what games they want. They may put out 20 games this year, all at $70. I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to wait for it to go on sale. I'm going to wait for it to come to something else. I mean, I may trade something. I don't know. That's the truth.
Let me rephrase the question. Are you going to buy more than one $70 game over the course of your PS5 career?
My career, I would assume, over the career of the lifetime of the cycle of the console.
But you won't have to buy more than one pair of headphones. So
maybe not. But I'm not I'm not the one complaining. I'm not the one complaining about spending the money. I'm not the one on social media saying this is terrible. The game's being $70 horrible. And then turn around and bend over and say, "Oh, $100 headset. Ooh yeah, baby, yeah." Okay, that to me is a bitch move. But I understand what.
Hey, let me hit a pause. Let me hit a quick pause. Milkmaster with the super chat. He said the issue was $500 headsets, not the $100 ones. And then
it doesn't matter if it's $500. That's like if you go into the same store code and you see a 77-inch, I don't know, Samsung TV for $1,400, and you just go off stomping, throwing shit, but then you see a $2,000 LG TV, you're like, oh well, that's fine. It's like when you were just bitching.
That's not true. You are taking two things in two different categories.
Hey, let me hit a pause.
Yo, Cole, we know Craig fell off a couple of bridges in his life, man. So
okay. Oh shit, we got Forte. Hey, before Forte get on his soapbox, Axel said, "Is this the same dude that just bought another Series X and he complaining about $10 upcharge for greatness?"
Oh shit!
Continue.
I'm not complaining. I'm not actually complaining about it because I haven't bought a game for $70. I think it's a shame. But yes, I did. Matter of fact, I think I bought 4 Series X's. They're more all for me. I sold quite a few of them. I sold my launch Series X.
You won't even give me one, Smooth.
Are you out here scalping?
No, you're scalping. You scalping?
I think I'm pretty reasonable.
Oh shit! Smooth just admitted he's scalping.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty reasonable.
Goddamn shame.
Reasonable resale.
God damn, Smooth. We thought you were one of us. Man, it be your closest peoples that be doing this to you. Damn.
I think I'm pretty reasonable. You know what I mean? Like, shit.
My man stuttering.
I mean, at least I'm not throwing in PlayStation 2 accessories and charging another $500 for it. Like they be throwing in PS2 and PS3 accessories and be like, all right, $1,200.
That's a bad point, Smooth, because they just announced today a $500 headset, and you guys are capping for it. It's like, oh my god. This is amazing.
Hey, Forte. Hey, first things first. Hey, Forte, I want to welcome you to the show.
Yo,
I appreciate you stopping by. Here, I know you want to beat the brakes out of Craig. I see you venting in my DMs, 90 paragraphs. I'm gonna tell you now. I'm not reading all this shit. So I'm gonna let you say what you're gonna say. The mic is yours.
Me and Craig, we go. This go all the way back to Ryan's podcast and everything. So we got a relationship with each other. You saying this bad blood? You saying this bad blood? My whole thing is with Craig. My whole thing with Craig is, he talks about he's the community leader of the Xbox. But then he comes out here and slanders. He comes out here and slanders his kin every day about the things that he don't like and stuff. Listen, Craig. Listen. First of all, let's talk about this $100 headset you're talking about, bro.
Oh, Christ.
Listen. I'm with you on the $500 headset. When I saw that, I was like, they can keep that. I said the most I ever spent on the headset was $300 when I bought my Astro 850s. I bought those, but I'm also not a person that's going to cap for a $70 game. Like, I'm with Smooth. I'm not going to.
Okay, but hold on. Complaining about $70 games.
Listen, I don't care about $70 games. I'm just not going to buy a $70 game until the game is actually good. Like, people out here jumping on the Returnal bandwagon saying they want to play the game and stuff, and they willing to spend $70. I'm like, yo, I'll wait. Like, I bought Demon's Souls day one because it was worth it. But outside of that, I'm not about to just give you $10 extra.
I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down, Forte. You going down the alley you don't want to be in.
I live in that. I've been living that out.
Keep it in Craig, Forte. You my mans. You my mans.
Bar, you know, I shout out to the PlayStation family. But Craig, I don't understand Craig's, you know, logic sometimes when it comes to this stuff, because I know he was dropped a couple of times and he's a baby. And he still has identity crisis. Are you PlayStation? Are you PC? Are you Xbox? You know, what are you, bro? Tell me.
Grown ass man. At least I know you don't understand that though.
No, at least I know when J Dub's talking, I know what I'm dealing with. I'm like, J Dub is trolling me because he's a PlayStation dude. I understand, so I deal with him accordingly. What are you, man? Tell me what you are.
I just told you, grown ass man, and I know you don't understand.
Well, grown ass men don't let other men get in their heads to the point where they're calling them bitches and stuff about having to spend
I said it was a bitch move.
No. Bitch move is calling motherfuckers bitches, dog.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is.
Okay.
That's all it is. Let me keep it a spade.
Whoa. All right,
keep it a spade.
If you're going to complain, like you said, you were like, hey, look, I'm not going to complain about $70. Cool. That makes sense to me. But if you're going to complain about something, then you turn around and go out and look, Forte. If you take your family, if you go to, I don't know, an amusement park and it costs you $100 to get in and you throw a bitch fit because it's big, and then the very next day, they're like, oh, well, it's going to be $150 the next day. You go in the next day. I mean, dude, it makes no sense, man.
I already promised it to my kids. I'm going to yell at them when we get out of the park.
Okay,
you told me it was $100.
Yeah,
you told me it was $100 and it was more.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. You got people complaining, and you've seen it too.
But Craig, that's a poor example, man. You are comparing the relative value of one thing.
No, I'm not.
And I can tell you something, Craig. Let me tell you something. I have a pair of those. I have a pair of the Rig 800s. I had them for like 4 years. Now I was lucky. I was lucky enough because they still give you the Dolby Atmos license when you buy it. I think they only give you a year worth with that one. Terrible. I was lucky enough to get the lifetime one, so I don't ever have to pay for it because that's when they used to give you lifetime passes.
Yeah, you paid. Yeah, I remember somebody saying
you paid for the license when you basically bought the headset. Yeah. So I mean, I understand what people are saying, but options are options.
I'll tell you the same thing I just told Smooth. Grown ass men can agree to disagree. I think it's a bit. Hold on, for the record, for everybody in the chat, it's a bitch move if you complain about $50 on one thing, but then you chub yourself up and say, "Well, I'm gonna spend $100."
Craig,
but Forte.
That thought is misplaced. No, I would be with you, Craig. I would be with you if you were talking about somebody like. Listen, we all know all these people went out and bought CXs and stuff when their brand new systems came out. Bought $2,000, $3,000 TVs. If we're talking about people that are complaining about buying $70 games that bought CXs and they went out and bought this $500 Xbox headset, and then they're complaining about $70 games. I'm with you. I'm like, you literally spent $2,000 on the TV. You can spend $10 more on a game. But we're talking about $100 headset with an $8 thing that you got to buy for a yearly pass that isn't even through Xbox. It's through somebody else. Like I said, we got to keep that shit balanced, bro. You know, I'm not about to cap for nobody when it comes to that stuff.
Okay, but you
especially when you call yourself the community leader, I want you to live up to your expectations.
I am.
Do you think that's why Smooth got beef with Craig?
Let me throw some 2 cents into this because I agree with Optimus. I had said you most likely only going to buy 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 at the most in a generation.
That's 2 different things. Optimus isn't complaining. Hold on, Optimus isn't complaining about buying whatever dollar game.
But the point is you used the wrong example. Craig. You shouldn't have used headset. No, yeah, you did. What I would have used is, oh, I ain't paying $70 for these games. I'm like, okay, I'll see you when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. Then we'll see. Then we're gonna find out where you truly feel.
Yeah, that's apples to apples.
Yeah. That's what I do. When people tell me I ain't paying $70 for these games, okay. When Red Dead 3 comes out, when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, we about to find out.
No.
That's like I said, that's what you need.
If you're gonna bitch and moan, if you go buy a gun and you say it's too heavy, I'm talking about a handgun, and then you're like, oh, this is too heavy, but then you're like, well, let me check out that AR-15, which is gonna be heavier because it's a rifle, and you're like, oh, this is perfect, this is great.
That's not the same. In fact, that's not even the same. That's not the same. That's not the same either. You know what? I'm gonna tell you. No. I'm gonna go with your example. I'm gonna go with your example. Bad example also, because if I got a handgun, right, and I don't like the weight of it, I am looking at it from the perspective of a handgun. I am not gonna correlate a handgun's weight with a weight of a rifle. Two totally different metrics.
Exactly.
Two totally different metrics. Greg, I'm sorry, but you got terrible examples. You got horrible examples.
I'm gonna help Craig out real quick. Craig, I got you. Listen,
I gave him the best example. I gave him the best example.
Go down the road of insane, bro.
I gave him the best example. The best example is you don't like 70 games. We're gonna find out in 3 years when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. We're gonna find out if you really don't like $70 games. That's when we're gonna find out.
P-Rock, check it. We all know what community of gamers Craig is talking about. It's not just the headset, bro. It's the goddamn controller. It's the headset. It's the lights behind their goddamn TV. Every Xbox game I know got lights behind their TV. All this bullshit in the world. They got the best mics in the world because they on a podcast.
Yo, gaming. Forte staying real quiet. He like, yo, but them Philips.
And then when it comes to when it comes to a game, they don't want to buy it. That's the issue. It's all the accessories they want to buy, but the games they want. An Xbox gamer told me this yesterday because I was getting on Paul Tassi. I said the Xbox gamer told me, yo, he likes the game but don't want to buy it.
What? Why would you buy it if they giving it to you in Game Pass?
No, but that's not what he said that he likes the game, but why would he want to buy it?
Is it in Game Pass? Barry, was it in Game Pass though?
I'm not just looking at it.
Barry, answer the question: is the game in Game Pass?
I'm not looking at it as just in a game. I'm looking at it overall.
Barry, if the game is in Game Pass, why would you spend money on it? If you don't have
to own it,
especially if you already got the sub. Now, if you're a person that don't have the sub, then you got to weigh the difference between paying $15 or whatever dollars a month versus just buying the game.
Hold on, Forte. I know that was rhetorical, but I'll answer that. I've bought plenty of games that was in Game Pass.
I'm saying I have too. I'm just saying. But if a person says they don't want to spend money on it, then it's probably because are they still playing the game?
Let me put a quick pause.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
Let me put up a quick pause.
Said they like the game but don't want to buy the game. Do you understand what I'm saying? Gamers saying we like a game but don't want to buy the game. That's the issue.
And they also say they bitch about $70 games, but they go out and pay $100 for something.
Why don't they buy it, Jay?
We got a guest here. Can we get our guest in here?
So let me put a pause. We got Wooly Gamer. He said, shout out to Cole for finally seeing the light with that fake ass armchair dev. And P-Rock for the W on Next Gen 720s. And Smooth for 2 Xbox Series X and no PS5. Praise God. Oh, shit. That's some crazy shit. All right. Hey, Smooth, I just want to ask you one last question, Smooth, before we go to the next topic. And I'm glad you guys are here. So you're not feeling this $70 game. Oh, wait, hold on. Is there another super chat here? Oh, there's one more super chat. Andrew Wilkins. It's a bitch move how Craig called me and Slow-Mo out our names to try and prove Control so good. Me and Slow were right. It underperformed. Damn, you getting this smoke, Craig. Craig, you getting this smoke, Craig. You are getting this smoke.
No. Slow-Mo said that game flopped, and it did not flop. And Andrew said it flopped too. Now he's saying it underperformed. I said at the time, if you remember that conversation, Forge, I said it may have underperformed, but it did not flop. Facts. Okay, those are the facts.
I think that's a flop if you underperform.
Yeah. Well, if you underperform, isn't that a flop?
No. That's a totally different thing. Totally different thing. Batman.
I don't know about that.
Totally different thing. Batman v Superman. No, Batman v Superman.
You're looking at it in the grand scheme because you can still sell pretty good, but based on what the IP was, it should have did better.
Based on what they projected, that's the thing.
Companies have a forecast of what they want to sell. Like,
it's just like the Tomb Raider thing where they sold 8 million copies and they said it was a disappointment. So in their eyes, it
underperformed. No, it underperformed.
Well, yeah, in their eyes, it underperformed. Yeah, and we're looking at them like, 8 million copies is underperforming?
You watched Batman v Superman. That movie underperformed simply because you put a movie with Batman. Well, yeah, you put and again, what's the forecast? Hey, we put Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman in a movie, $1 billion. It didn't make that.
I give you that.
It still profited, but Venom, the Sony movie Venom, overperformed. It wasn't projected to do the number it did. But that's the difference. That saying something flop means it lost money. I mean, that's a flop.
No, yeah, you're right.
Control did not lose money.
I'll give you a W on that one.
Good point.
Well, it's not a matter about a W.
Hey, Craig, you got your W. Craig, you got your W. Take it. Take your W right now. You got it. You got your W.
I gotta post you up every once in a while.
You got your Craig, let it go now. You got your W. Don't say nothing that's gonna take it away.
Right? Oh my God!
Shout out to my sister from another mister, that Ashley Luca. She said, "Yo, bros." She out here chilling. So,
hey, how you doing?
Anyway, just Smooth again. Hey, Smooth there? He quiet. Smooth.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, quick question. So you're not a fan of these $70 games, right?
I'm not the biggest fan, no.
So when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes day one for $70, you not buying it?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna buy it?
Game because you picked the wrong game.
Really? You hate Grand Theft Auto? No. All right. How about Red Dead? How about Red Dead? Red Dead 3.
Dude,
you don't like Rockstar games?
You're asking. You gotta. Hey.
All right, fuck it. NBA Live.
I'm not a big.
NBA Live. NBA Live, next generation engine, better than 2K. $70.
At that point, years would have had passed, and if that's going to be my first $70 game, then that would be my first $70 game. It'll be like. I don't say I'll never do it. I just haven't to this point. Right now, there hasn't been a game yet to come out that I feel is worth $70. So I haven't spent $70 on a game yet.
Hold on.
Oh, here we go.
I can't remember. Was Crackdown day one on Game Pass?
It was.
Because I was gonna pull the Crackdown card. If you pay $60 for that game, I was gonna get you, dog. Oh, but you lucky that shit was on Game Pass. Because I was gonna get you with Crackdown.
And I think the one thing I will say is, Craig, I think in one way a lot of people are just capping. And they're just, it's just a negative for PlayStation that they got a $70, that they're charging $70. So it's just part of the conversation right now. People are going to go back and forth, especially if you listen to the cucks inside the community that don't actually mean anything. That's definitely going to be a conversation. But let's be for real. Everybody in this chat, even if you don't agree with $70 games, sooner or later, you're going to buy a $70 game. Because sooner or later, there's going to be a game that comes out that you want to play, and it's going to be at a price point you may not agree with. And if it's that price, you're going to buy it. So sooner or later, everybody's going to adapt this. It's just right now, it's a talking point that everybody just wants to go back and forth with. But it's going to be.
Forte, I think you're right.
I agree with you.
Hold on, Craig. Forte, you would know this for sure because this is your area. But this narrative keeps jumping that Sony games are $70. But Sony games are range from $49.99 to $70. Right. So it's not just true that all games are $70.
No, yeah, they got games they even dropped the price of Destruction All Stars to $40. I don't even know how that game was $70 when it came out. And guess what? Returnal. God bless anybody that goes out there and spends $70 on the game on day one. That game is probably going to drop to $50 or $40 in a month.
Yeah.
You know, so if you want to be a day one adopter of the game, go right ahead and spend that $70. I'm going to wait to see what everybody's saying about it because I'm interested in the game. I'm just not interested in it at $70. Yeah. Now, God of War was my favorite game of last generation on PlayStation. They could drop that thing tomorrow at $80. I'm going to spend that much money for it because I'm excited for that game no matter what. So it really just comes down to what you're excited for. But a game that's unproven, it's made by a developer that everybody loves and stuff. But overall, I'm not about to give you extra money for something that I haven't tried to see if it's actually what I want to play or not.
All right.
Well said. That's crazy to me, to be honest with you. I ain't gonna go the back and forth with me. I just want to let you know that sounds crazy to me. But yo, Smooth, a game that's coming out that's $70, Ratchet and Clank. So you tell me you want to buy that?
Well, you got to remember, Jay Barry, I'm a person that's haven't had to buy games in a long. I mean, think about it. I haven't had to really buy games for a long time, even before Game Pass, due to where I work at. Yeah. So me paying for a game is like a big thing for me. It's not. I don't just go out and buy games willy nilly just to say, oh, I have this game. So when I look at a $70 game, I'm like, yo, that's like if you buy 3 of those, that's like the price of it. It gets crazy. So I understand what you're saying.
No, what I look at, Sporte, is that when you say something like that,
a consistent basis all the time.
Not everybody is gonna know your situation of how you play your game. So the person that's probably listening to on YouTube is probably going, oh, I like Forte's opinion. I ain't gonna buy that game either. And then when the game flops, it's like, see, look, you know what I mean?
Barry, whenever you ever heard me do that, Barry, whenever you heard me say in a video that, oh, look, that game flopped, that's why I didn't spend $70.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the community. Well, I'm just saying that what I heard from you is that I'm interested in the game, but I ain't trying to pay for it. That's what I just heard from you saying. To me, that sounds crazy as a game.
And let me hit the pause.
I'm not trying to pay for it at the price point they give it at.
Let me hit the pause button. Shout out to Max City. I missed this one, but he said I buy headsets. I like all the time, but I just have issues with buying Godfall for $70. Last of Us, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, worth it, not All Stars.
Right? Exactly.
But that's really. But I will say this:
you can call me a fraud because I literally bought the P7, the 7P headphones for for SteelSeries for my PlayStation. I just bought the Xbox headset for $100. I bought the new pair of Astro A50s like 2 years ago. So, I mean, I don't mind spending money on stuff that I know I want and stuff that I know is going to benefit me in the long haul. Like, just giving somebody money is ridiculous to me. Like, I can't rock with that. And I trust me, I like the developer. I like what they're actually doing. I like the way the game looks, but it's not something I'm just going to say, here's my money, take it.
Why did you buy those headphones?
Because I'm a headphone nut. I'm an audiophile.
The type of brand has built a rapport with you, right? That you say, oh, I think I'm going to get a good experience because I experienced they past headphones or something like that, right?
Mm. Yeah, but not as
you just said the same thing with House Smart, but don't want to buy it.
I already set a bar on what I'm willing to spend on headphones. I'm not spending over $300. I already said my Astro A50s, I spent $300 for. That $500 headset, I love the company that's making them, but am I about to go out and give them $500 just to say I own them? Hell no. They can keep that.
All right. Shout out to Ashley.
But Forte, again, you're not complaining about the other thing. You're just going out doing what you do. You're paying the cost.
He just complained about a $70.
No. He's not.
Well, played about a $70 game. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, he just said I'm not going to buy something at $70. So that's not filing a complaint. Filing a complaint is we're in a pandemic and Sony is charging us $70 and turning around and paying $100 for something else. I did buy Spider-Man, the Ultimate Edition, because I wanted the up-res version of the original Spider-Man, and I wanted Miles Morales. So I spent $70 on that. But you did not tweet out.
But I refused to pay $70 for a game that I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? And Jake Parry, I know, love that game.
Well, no, and I remember when you bought the Spider-Man game, you said you were getting it because you're excited for the upgrade. As I said, Forte is at least not filing a complaint. He's not saying, oh, Tuesday, this is terrible, $70 games, blah, 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 this. And then on Thursday, caping for a headset. I'm like, wait a minute. I would say to him, you just complained about spending $70. Now you're going to spend $100. That to me don't sit well. But again, we agree to disagree, and that is fine. That is fine. Grown-ass men can agree to disagree and move on and smoke a cigar.
Craig, let me ask you something. Craig. This is for Craig specifically. Craig, would you pay $500 for LG CX 77-inch OLED?
I don't know. What does it do? Probably.
Would you pay $70 for a cheeseburger?
I don't know.
Royale with cheese.
I don't know. Yeah, if it's a Royale with cheese, I may. I don't know.
Would you pay $100 for a cheeseburger?
I don't know. Not the code. Here's the difference. I'm not complaining about the price. You're not complaining about the price.
Do you think $100 is too much for a cheeseburger?
If that's what you're willing to pay, that's what you're willing to pay. Oh, now from McDonald's, I don't know.
He's afraid to answer. He's afraid to answer.
No, I'm not. I'm not the one complaining.
The answer is hell no. It's like, hell no, I ain't paying no goddamn $70 for McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're going to file a complaint, again, like I said before, I brought up
Craig, just because you think one thing is too expensive doesn't mean you have to think everything is too expensive.
I never said that. I said the people are complaining.
A $70 game,
you're forgetting that.
But a $100 headset doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It's based on the
relative different metrics.
Look, if you file a complaint on spending $3 for $40, why are you going to spend $5 for another?
Because the other thing may be worth the $5, Craig.
Okay.
You can't say that everything is in the same category.
Craig, that's just like people going.
So price is subjective. Price is subjective.
It's always subjective. It's just like people go out and buy.
That's what I'm saying. Price.
Can it be vice versa though? Why can't it be vice versa? Because when I say I want to pay $70, I don't mind paying $70 for Eternal because Housemarque making a AAA third-person shooter. Everybody be like, "Oh my God, why are you supporting these? What is going on?"
Why you let these people take?
It can be in reverse, J Bar. That's not the thing. Hold on. We're not saying. Well, I'm not saying that the people that complain about $70 is wrong. I'm not saying the people that don't mind paying $70 is wrong. What I'm saying is, you and Craig are complaining about complaining.
Oh, yeah. That is true.
The only reason why I was asking Forte, I respect his opinions. I'm just asking because from my translation, what I heard is, I'm interested in this game. I like the developer, but I don't want to support them right now. That's what I'm hearing.
To me, I like to know more about the game. Yeah, what up? I know more about it. And all I see the gameplay looks cool, but it doesn't.
Hold on, Nautical. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, what's up, Luca?
I'm gonna need more popcorn. But while she's here, let me do the shout out, the super chat, because they didn't give me time to do it. Ashton Luku's here says, "Why pay for something when you can get it for cheaper? Gaming is more successful than the movie industry. Corporations stay cucking us." I'm glad you said cucking and not cocking. We got SS9. SS9 gaming is an expensive, selfish hobby. If you can't afford $70 games, or if you can't afford $70 games, then get out. I remember as a kid paying $74 for Street Fighter 2. Oh shit. And my man Lionel B, my man Lionel B says, so why don't no one complain about Nintendo games staying $60 forever when they know
people do complain about that?
Yeah, that's true. It's that Nintendo don't give a shit. They know those $70 games will drop in price and probably be on Game Pass or PS Plus for free.
That's true.
Oh man, that's true.
I want to say, I don't really understand what the problem is exactly. Because if a developer is putting their game in Game Pass, it's not like they're doing it from the goodness of their heart. You know, they're getting financially backed for doing that. So the developer is already paid. Therefore, why must I spend an extra $70 or I'm sorry, $60 when they're good? They wouldn't have made this decision unless they were unless they were benefiting from it.
I think she's talking to you, Jay Bari.
But I'm just a little bit confused about what the problem is.
My thing is that the thing I brought up with the whole Paul Tassi dude is that the man said I put 30 hours in a PS5 demo. but I'm going to play over here Game Pass on Xbox. But my thing is like, yo, if you enjoy your experience on the PS5 and you put that much hours in where you can just continue your gameplay, if you love this game that you're interested to put 30 hours in the demo, support the developer and buy the game on PS5 because you put the time in there.
Well,
why would you just restart?
Okay.
You're going to restart everything over again just because you can get it in Game Pass.
This video bar game, more than likely, he's not even going to had to buy the game no matter what. He's going to get a review code for PlayStation, and he wasn't going to buy it anyway. So even on PlayStation, he wasn't going to basically, support the game.
I didn't know about the review code. I'm just basing off his tweet.
So I can acknowledge and admit that I personally, while I didn't necessarily take issue with what he said, I did think some of his points as to why he was switching over to Xbox were very petty. I don't know if you read the full article.
Oh, yeah, I read it.
He was talking about how he doesn't like the UI and what else did he say? Just a lot of like really petty, ridiculous stuff. He's like, the controller dies too quickly, stuff like that, right? I really feel like it's more than just the game going to Game Pass. I think he just wants to play on Xbox now. And that's the feeling I got from him, to be quite frank. He seems like he has a lot of issues with PlayStation in its current state. He even said, Sony didn't do enough to keep me as a customer. They broke things that didn't need to be broken, and they didn't fix things that need to be fixed.
You know what?
Needed to be fixed.
That's a great segue.
I think it's more... I think it's just more to do with that than the actual Game Pass thing.
Yeah.
That being said, me personally, I mean, I put several hours into the demo myself, and I'm gonna get it on Xbox, and I put the hours on PlayStation because it's like, well, I have Game Pass through my game share partner, so it's like I'm not even paying for it anyway, so I might as well. Plus, it's just a demo. You only did 2 main missions and 3 side quests, and as someone who plays looter shooters, and you do as well, Bari, we already know that until you hit endgame, you're constantly leveling up. So that gear is pretty much worthless anyway. I don't even know why he bothered grinding. I don't know why anyone bothered grinding, because as I know, I'm going to make the assumption that when the game comes out, you're immediately going to start getting stuff that's higher than what you got from the demo. So it's not even going to matter. So, I mean, I don't really have a problem with his viewpoint or anyone's viewpoint on switching to Game Pass because, as I stated before, none of these publishers are putting the games in Game Pass for free. They're being compensated. So I don't need to give them any money. And to be quite frank, the gaming industry is extremely greedy, extremely predatory, and extremely successful. So I don't necessarily understand this idea that I have to give them more of my money when I have an option. And then this viewpoint that, oh, you must be broke, you must be poor because you go to Game Pass. First of all, my PC, my gaming PC with my 3070 in it was $2,000+. I have PlayStation 5, that's $550. I got an Xbox Series X, $550. I got a Switch, that's $220. I can afford to buy games. But if you have the option to get it for cheaper, why wouldn't you just get it for cheaper? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, sometimes people like to support it. Like me personally, if I really like a developer, I'm going to support them. I'm going to fuck if they game in the service. And with Game Pass, it's not technically ownership. You know what I mean? That game might not be in Game Pass forever. So what you going to do there? You still have to buy it.
Yeah, and when you do buy it from Game Pass, you go ahead and you get yourself a nice little discount. So.
You get a 10% discount.
No, it's 20%.
Yeah.
Whatever
if you wait till Black Friday, maybe.
So let me ask you.
20% discount's pretty nice, I must admit.
Yeah. So Jay, you're basically telling me is you rather buy the game at full price day one. Full price, or play it, or if it's available in Game Pass. You already. Now, I'm not saying if you don't have the service. If you don't have the service, then yeah, you got a decision to make because now you got to balance $15 a month versus a $60 game. How much are you going to play this game? Is it going to last you out the year? Those are all decisions you got to make. But if you already own the service, like myself, Luca, Smooth, Code, we all have the service already. So. In our eyes, it's like we're not paying for anything extra because we're already in the ecosystem. So why pay more money for something that we don't have to? Well, Code, I know you'll still buy games. I still buy games. I
want to address Jay Barry because I agree with you, Forte. Absolutely. But I just need to make sure I'm understanding Jay Barry. So I'm just going to use a real example.
I just want to let you know I got Tim's on code, so go ahead.
Okay, I don't want to.
Let me hit the pause. Shout out to Sane. He said, "Are we gamers or are we accountants? Pay for the goddamn returnal. Stop being cheap." Nah, I added that part. I added that part myself. I'm sorry. I added it for the theatrical flair. And Steady Flow.
I think it was another one.
And shout out to Steady Flow. He says, "I'm late to the chat, but why nobody not talking about Kid Smooth buying multiple controllers and multiple systems, but he complaining about $70 games?"
Well, I mean, again, we talked about that earlier. I think I smoke on that. I'm done talking on that. I think it's retarded, but that's my opinion.
I personally, I think the value of $1 is different for different people, and different people want to spend money on different things. I spend money on like manga or something, but I don't know if anyone else in here would. You know, but it's worth it for me.
I subscribe to Viz every month. I pay for that.
So J Bar, let me make sure I'm understanding you, because the stuff that you just said a few minutes ago, I know you got your Timbs on, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Nah, it's all love, Cole. You my man.
If you really, really, really like the developers that made Destruction All
Wait, hold
Stars,
on. Luca pays for manga? Isn't that? Can't you see that shit for free on fucking adult websites? Fuck, would you pay for that for?
I think you
manga.
You think about hentai?
Oh, my bad. No. I got the word. Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, I'm thinking, damn, Luca getting a freak on. I'm like, she getting a freak on the airwave. I'm like, oh, shit.
That's very specific.
My bad.
Genre of the genre. Yeah. But no,
my bad.
If I really like a series, like I read a lot of manga online, but say for instance, I have my hardcover copy of Tokyo Ghoul is like right there staring at me because it's pretty. I like looking at it, and I like having a physical copy of it when I'm like going to see my mom in California or something. I don't have to worry about electronics.
Yeah, what's manga? That nigga Rock said, "Can't you look at that on porn site?"
Yeah, my bad. I confused the genre. My bad.
History.
I need to hear this.
So Jay Barry, so you really, really, really want to support the developers that made Destruction All Stars, and you're saying, well, it dropped in PS Now for free.
I don't know,
but because I really want to support them, I'm going to pay $70 for it anyway.
Yo, to be honest with you, I already paid $70 for Destruction All-Star when it was on pre-order. And when they took it off, what did you say?
Well, hold on.
That game trash.
Stop. You paid $70 for Destruction All-Stars? Oh, my God.
That game is ass, bro.
It was a new game coming out, new multiplayer game. I'm like, I'm going to check it out. So,
but you didn't cancel it? You didn't cancel it after they said it was going to be free?
No. PlayStation canceled it. PlayStation canceled it.
Yeah, they did it for you.
I was about to say. Oh, so you okay? I was about to say. I'm like,
so they gave everybody back a refund.
If you drop that 70 on that, I'll be like,
so say they didn't do that, Jay. So say right now, Destruction All Stars is free in PS Now. I'm sorry, in PS Plus. You're saying if you really want to support them, you're going to cash out $70 for it anyway, just so you can support them.
For me personally, yes, I would do that. I've done that with many games where I want, if I like the developer and I like the game, I want to actually own the game. You know, whether it's digitally or physically, most likely digitally, I want to own it. Like PS Now, if my service gets canceled, I can't play that game. But if I bought the game, regardless of a service or not, I can play the game. You know what I mean? So that's what. That's what, if I really like a developer, I'm going to pay. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to pay for it rather than it just being in the service. I'll pay for it.
I admire and respect that viewpoint. For me personally, after being cucked multiple times by these greedy,
I don't know, man. Between this manga and your language, I may have to change this shit to an adult content.
I spent $60 on fucking Anthem. Wait, no, I didn't. Someone spent $60 on Anthem for me.
Somebody,
right? And I felt so guilty about that game. I went ahead and gave them $60 back. I'm like, just take the money.
Oh wow! I feel you.
That game, I spent.
Gaming can be risky.
Broken. It shouldn't be risky. That's the thing. You're spending your hard-earned money, and the gaming industry is the only industry where like we're just going to give you a broken product, and everyone's going to be like, "Yes, sir, please give me more." It's perfectly okay because I'm I'm used to getting broken products. That's what happened with CD Projekt Red. They're like, listen, we're gonna cuck our fans, and they're gonna love it. That's not what happened.
We're gonna cuck the fans.
We got a dude. Adam Moore in the chat, he asked the question.
Who?
So, like, what price do y'all think Cyberpunk is actually worth?
Who said? You see that in the chat?
$10 barely. $10 barely.
How many? Like when it comes to those like broken games, I get a refund. Anthem, I got a refund.
Well, like say Cyberpunk is done and they finally finished it and all that good stuff. What do y'all think the price of Cyberpunk is worth?
$40.
Yeah, okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
They're gonna give. You mean they're gonna give us $40?
Oh, there
like we get $40.
They're gonna give us money back to play it.
Yeah,
I got you. I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, if
the game is like the demos that they showed, I'll pay the $60 for it if it's fixed.
Hold up. For Cyberpunk, I better not hear about PS5 upgrade. Nah, y'all better do a PS5 remake. Start over. Yeah. Like, you seen that list of fixes? Like, that shit's like reading War and Peace. Like, what are we doing here?
There's fundamentally to its core wrong with that game, and I don't think those fixes are going to change that.
No, that's like 1.2. That's like fix 3.0. Like, holy shit! How broken was this game? Yeah. Yo, it's crazy. All right, so
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next topic because I think we killed how broke we are. You know, thank you for.
I need to compliment Luca on her Derek Jackson take the other night, having on the floor. Okay, this totally different topic, but you know what we're talking about. That shit was hilarious. It
was really funny, dude. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, on the floor. Yeah.
All right,
go ahead, Paul.
Before we move on, logical nonsense. He says, "Yo, I don't like this gaming services is the future stuff because these developers will be selling their games to MS and Sony services instead of us, the consumer. Our opinion will no longer matter."
Your opinion has never mattered, but okay.
Oh, shit. All right, so here's my next topic, right? So, Sony closing down the PlayStation Store on PS3, PSP, and Vita. All right? So now this is my question to you. All right? And we're going to go down the line. We're going to start with the guests. We'll start with Jack Move. Do you think there's some validity, do you think there's some merit to this closing store? Do you think Sony is once again making a bad move? Or do you think motherfuckers are once again having fake outrage over shit they don't even own, yet they're crying as if they just lost access to PlayStation 3, PSP, and Vita products? I'll start with you, Jack Move. What do you think?
Like I said on Weapon Wheel, I definitely understand why these stores are closing their older stores. You know, they might not be as profitable as they once were. And these platforms are no longer being supported, you know, sadly. But I understand it, but I do not agree with it. And the only reason I do not agree with it is because Sony, first of all, Sony has the infrastructure to rectify this problem, and they refuse to do it. Even though 9 years ago, they promised this to all of us. When they came out on stage at whatever event that was, it said the goal of PS Now is to own hopefully on all previous generation of PlayStation games in one place. This was supposed to be their answer to backwards compatibility. They couldn't do the native backwards compatibility according to them. They was gonna do PS Now backwards compatibility, right? They said, you know, we're gonna have the PS1 games, the PSP, the Vita, PS3. At that point, the PS3 was the latest console, and they have done nothing but shown incompetence and failure in doing that. Not only are there no PSP or Vita games on PS Now, there isn't a single PS1 game on PS Now. There is a shitty selection of PS2 games on PS Now. Now the PS4 selection is pretty good, I give them that. But my thing is, it's a big deal because of how Sony, you know, playing it. Because I do believe in shit like game preservation, and with them closing these stores, there's a lot of these games, you know, they're only available digitally on some of these platforms. And with them closing these stores, these games will never see the light of day again unless you emulate them on PC. And I don't even really fuck with emulation on PC, but a lot of these games will never go see the light of day again. And they're going to, you know, lost media is a real thing. So these games are going to die. They're not going to be preserved in the history of a video game museum and all that. And it's an issue. And a lot of things, and then another thing, people say, well, you know, just keep your keep your physical games, play them on there or whatever. It's another issue with this. I just found out about this. It's some shit called like a CMOS battery or something like that.
Yeah.
So pretty much, even if you got a PS3 or a Vita and you're playing physical or digital games, all these games have licenses, right? So pretty much they have to check what day and time it is to work to make sure the license is still valid. But with this battery, if your battery dies on whatever platform you're playing, it can no longer check the date and time. So it can no longer validate that copy of the game. So in essence, if your CMOS battery dies in any console that you have that's a PlayStation, if PlayStation Network is not actively on that system, it will brick the system from playing physical and digital games. So you will no longer be able to use it. So just think about this, right? We got the all-digital PS5. In 5 to 10 years, that motherfucker ain't gonna never work again. And there's nothing you can do. So that's the issue, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna move down the line. You good, Johnny? Because I'm gonna move down the line and I'm gonna pose the audience a question.
I'm good.
All right, so Gaming Forte, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of with Jack Move on this. I mean, I actually pulled out the PS3 to download a lot of the digital games I had on my library. Once this announcement came down, I downloaded all the stuff that I had on Vita because I didn't know if it was actually going to be an ability to download that stuff. Thank God they said you'll still be able to download the stuff you own. That is true about the CMOS battery. That is something I know. Once that thing goes, it basically keeps the clock for everything on your system. And I mean, those things last for a very long time, so I don't really see a foreseen problem with it in the near future, but that definitely can be a source of tension for a lot of people. But let's be for real. Most of these games, we were talking about, like, if we go back to Game Pass, people talk about old games and stuff. Who's really playing these games? I mean, unless you're the type of person that just like to say you have access to all that stuff. And I know if you're a PC enthusiast and stuff like that, that's kind of the ecosystem you live in. You always have access to all your older stuff, no matter what platform that you're playing on when it comes to PC. Console has never really been that way. Xbox has kind of changed the narrative when it came to that by giving different updates and stuff to their system, where PlayStation has been promising stuff like that, but never really fulfilling it fully. And now it looks like when it comes to the older platforms, that's definitely not going to be a thing. So if you do care about this stuff, like I said, either go out and buy that PS3, get your Vita, download your games, do what you need to do to preserve that stuff. Even that's not going to be a guarantee, but it just seems real funny for it to be people arguing about something that they said they truly don't care about. And like you said, everybody keeps saying PlayStation is about the future, about moving forward, but we're complaining about PS3 games that people probably haven't booted up on a system in 5 years or maybe longer.
They probably don't even have the system.
That's what I'm saying. They probably don't even have the system. Literally, I had to go dig my. The only reason I knew where mine was because we just recently bought a house and we moved, and I had all that stuff in one box. And when I saw the report, I was like, let me go find a PS3 and download this stuff. And I was like, I couldn't even find the damn controller because it was like you got to hook up the mini USB cable to sync your controller. I'm like, I don't have one of those. I haven't used mini USB in 10 years. Where's this cable? So this is just more of nothing. But if you care about this stuff, do what you need to do to preserve your games, because that is a big thing that I think gamers are starting to realize. And PlayStation kind of dropped the ball on this one, saying that they were going to do something about it, and it looks like they're not.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Going down the line, Smooth. What do you think about this?
Honestly, I have no thoughts. I do not have a PSP, Vita, PS3, whatever the supports. I mean,
you don't even got a PS5, so I mean, at this point,
yeah, I don't even got a PS5. I've been through several PS4s during the PS4 generation, so that's nothing really new.
Okay.
But I mean, all I gotta say is, maybe I don't know if there's a solution because isn't developers still releasing games on PSP store?
They were about to, but they didn't know it was closing down. Sony didn't even tell them. It's still people that make Vita games. They just found out when we found out. They're like, oh shit, this game we got there and put it out.
Now I'm gonna be honest. on that one. I mean, it's kind of fucked up that Sony didn't give them a professional courtesy just from a business perspective. But at the same time, if I'm a developer and I'm gonna make a brand new game in 2021 on a mobile platform, and that platform is not called Switch, you put that shit on the Vita, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you're a dumbass. I'm sorry. Like, who in 2021 is gonna make a handheld game on the Vita and not the Switch? That's just me, though. I'm just saying. That's just me. Like, I don't know.
Not to be like to be a dick, but isn't Xbox games all on the same store? Like, because you could buy like 360 games, Xbox games, all on like. I mean, it brings up
not really smooth. But not really. They're in the same interface. Like if you buy a 360 game, it's going to switch you to a different interface. That
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you good, Smooth?
I don't know if they can find a way to bring the store over. I don't know, man.
That, Smooth, you and I, that's the question I'm going to pose to everybody. So you almost got ahead. My man, Smooth, we on the same wavelength. But before that, Luca, what do you think about this? Are we still getting cucked? Are we getting mangled? What's going on here? We getting mangled out here?
I personally don't have any feelings on it, but I'm always going to stand with the gamers. So if Jack doesn't like it, then I don't like it. So
there you go.
But personally, I don't care. All right. Like it doesn't affect me in any way.
Because you don't have a PS3. You're like, I don't got any of these.
My PS3 is under my bed.
Oh shit.
So
that's how you kept playing Demon Souls until the new one came out.
I did try to play Demon Souls on my PS3, and it was not a great experience. So,
yes.
But yeah, I mean, I don't. It doesn't affect me. I don't really care. I did see people were upset about it, but occasionally I do have to wonder, like, oh, are they actually upset? I never know with this community. So, but like I said, if there's valid concern and criticism, like Jack was saying, like, oh, they promised this to us, then yeah, man, I'll stand with the gamer on this one. Okay. It sucks.
All right. So now, gonna move on to the panel, but before that, shout out to Corey Pollard. He says, salute P-Rock and Luca with the Stacy Dash voice in gaming.
That was good.
Someone's in love. Someone's in love. We got Slow-Mo Backslap. Says, what is being lost in the last topic is the dev who put big games like Outriders and GP got paid upfront for it. You don't need to support them by buying it. They already been paid if you get it through GP. Okay.
Yeah, that's what Luca was saying.
I think that's what Luca was saying.
Thank you. Me and Star is on the same page all the time, family, hashtag that's my son,
But he said it like 10 hours later. I think you should just be called Slow-Mo. Because God, I'm just playing. I'm playing. Shout out to Slow-Mo Backslap. And my man Show, he said, I play old mindless games when I listen to y'all show. My man's playing. In other words, he's playing games. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the panel. We'll start out with Craig. What do you think about this? PS3 store, PSP Vita store closing.
I just, God forbid you have to go out and buy a PS3, and if they still make the Vita, you can get one and get your stuff. That's the way to remedy it. They are based on Sony is.
Hold on. Before you move on, what they're saying is, if you do buy a PS3, you no longer have access to the store to get the games. That's the problem.
The digital store?
Yeah, the digital store is closed. The digital store is closed.
Like I said, you didn't buy God. You have to buy your games physically. Go somebody, fly a kite. I mean, it's not that hard.
Yeah, they say you can buy them up to the day of closure of the store. You can still do purchases and stuff, and you can still download your current games after the fact. But
can you play them physically? Like if I bought a PS3,
well, some games didn't come out physical. Some games were digital only.
If I wanted to play SOCOM 2 on the PS3, which is back compat, I could put the physical disc in there, and it would still. If I hook up all the things,
they turn the servers off. If you put a custom
single player, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not online or the Metal Gear.
Well, the thing about the Vita was a lot of those games had components of the game you had to download to the memory card, and even when you put the game in, you still had to download something. So if those games are if there's not going to be a service, you want to be able to play single player in those games.
Good point.
Real quick before I go, and I know you're gonna go, Craig. Real quick, ask has anyone actually gone back and played any of these games on like a PlayStation 3?
No,
because
I don't even have my PlayStation 3,
and that's why I agree with Forte. That's why
I was talking to Blaze, and he was talking about like downloading a game on his PlayStation 3. He's like, Jesus, this
must be miserable.
Forever.
That shit must be miserable.
Oh,
yeah. I can only imagine how miserable that experience is.
I'm about to buy some Vita games, though. I'm about to buy a couple of Vita games.
Yeah, that's as long as you enjoy it, boo.
Okay, it's gonna take you forever to play it.
It's definitely slow as fuck.
All right.
So happy early birthday, Luca. Happy early
birthday weekend? So we getting crunk this weekend?
Yeah, I'm trying to get drunk, but we'll see what happens.
Get that Henny.
Make sure I send my flowers to you.
Yes, appreciate that, man.
We're about to get that.
Happy early 21st birthday.
Thank you for stopping by, Luca.
Excuse me. Okay, you guys have a good one. Bye.
Thank you for stopping by. Hit that like button on the way out for Luca. All right. So, Jay Barry, what do you think about this?
I think that it's horrible what PlayStation is doing. You should own your games, buy them physically. Physical is the best, but Game Pass is the best service in gaming right now.
What?
Sorry. Where's Jay Barry and what did you do with him?
That was a gaming politician.
That's some politicians. He's kissing babies and shaking hands.
Jack, you feel the vibes. I agree. I agree with Jack move. When it comes to the preservation standpoint, I feel like PlayStation, they need to have a better solution. Like, there's you really and truly, you should be having your PS3 games. Like, they do have a lot of PS3 games on PS Now, but you should have like all of them shits on PS Now. You did promise PS1 and PS2. The only PS2 games are on there is the ones that came out that got remade for the PS4, the PS2 for PS4 games that have the trophies. It's not the original PS2 games that's on there. You don't have no PSP or Vita games on there as well. So yeah, like at the end of the day, nobody's using the store. Nobody's buying digital games like that on the PlayStation currently. You know what I mean? Especially with all the physical collections that I saw on Twitter. I don't even know why people complain about this, but somebody like me that went digital on PS3, that remember those bad load times, and I was so happy when they added a preloaded feature. Mm-hmm. Damn, that was a struggle back then. But like on my show, I compared to, when you just break up with a girlfriend, you might not, you're gonna talk your shit, the first couple of days, but when that week hit, you're gonna be like, damn, man, I missed that box. You know what I mean? You're gonna be thinking about this girl like, damn, man, I wish I could be with this. That's like gaming. You're not playing it, you're not touching it, you're not doing anything, but there's gonna be that time when news come up like this, you're gonna be like, damn, I'm gonna lose access to that. But even though you're not gonna lose access if you already downloaded it. But at the end of the day, you have the PlayStation 5. There's no real excuse where PlayStation gamers getting the PS5 can't play those legacy games to like PS Now, in my personal opinion, or even buy some of these shits from the store. Like, I don't know why.
That's the thing too, though, Jay Barr. Like, check this out, though, right? I don't think people understand. I know everybody's in the here and now when we like what's new and shiny, but you got to realize something, right? Like. Yep. And I don't want this type of shit to continue. Imagine if they told you there's no way to access, I don't know, a game I don't even really fucking like. Okay, Infamous Second Son, right? That game's 7 years old. That's an old game. Imagine if in 3 years they say we taking it off the store. It's no way to fucking access. As a matter of fact, they've already did. They put a lot of first party games off of digital storefronts on PS3. So even if you was digital only, you don't want to buy the physical. You can't even buy it just to have fun when the store closed down. It's an issue, people. You might not see it. It's a fucking issue.
No, that's what I wanted to chime in with what you just said. It really just comes down to, like, this basically gives a lot of people the pause button right in front of them. It's like, hey, if they can do it with this system, who says they won't do it with the next one? Who says when PS6 comes out, we might lose PS4? It seems like it's crazy to think about that in the ecosystem that we're in right now. But when they're willing to do it in this generation and say that we're literally just deleting that out of the ecosystem, you kind of got to think, like, is PlayStation going to do this the next generation? If I choose to, play all my games here going forward with PS5 going into the next generation, am I going to have access to all those games that I play? And let's be for real, digital is the future. And if you don't have a viable way of having a digital ecosystem built for the people that want to be a part of that, like you, Jay Barry, or like Jack Move or something, then those people have to really start thinking about, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I buying all of these, especially third-party games, on the right system and stuff? Because who knows if Sony's gonna, value me as a customer to let those games come forward with me. That's something you got to think about. They shouldn't have to do that.
This is the issue. PlayStation never really comes to like these things like this. They got to strike while the iron's hot, right? You put out this service announcement that the stores are going away, which nobody's really buying PlayStation 3, Vita, PSP games. Obviously, that takes up resources somewhere on PlayStation, PSN network, and all that stuff. Of course. Understandable, but why? When you announce something like this, you should always have like a contingency, like, oh, we're dropping the store, but you can play these stuff on PS Now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Why you can't follow up with that rather than most likely they're going to do something like that, but you got to wait 2-3 years down the line until you finally get it. Where you could have did it now, or work on it now. They could have been working on it. They could have been working on it. That's my issue with that. But overall, people not really. The metrics is showing obviously why they cutting the store. People not buying it on there. I was on the Vita store. I was like, damn, I used to rock with this Vita store. This Vita store now at present day is horrible.
This shit is Jim Ryan, bro. Jim Ryan does not care about old games. Like that.
He said it. He
does. Okay, that's cool. He don't care. He's killing the history of fucking PlayStation, man. It's just no other way to put it, people. Certain games will be gone forever, and you will never have history of these fucking games. It's really, and you know what's crazy? People cry and bring back Legend of Dragoon, bring back Metal Gear, and all this. According to PlayStation, these bitches never existed anyway, because there ain't gonna be no way for you to get them motherfuckers unless you go on goddamn PC and steal these bitches via emulation.
Let me say this real quick.
Before we move on, I want to get Optimus Code opinion, so he can add on to it, and then continue the conversation. Code, what do you think about this?
Oh man, I got a lot of love for Jack, a lot of love for Jay Barry, but I think this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I don't understand what they're talking about.
What's what you got?
So
what's your point?
Nobody is losing any access to any game. So like in one breath they'll say, well, you still got access to your games, and then in the next breath they say, but people scared they're gonna lose their games. Like, which one is it? We already know that people have access to all the games. And as far as gaming history, there are plenty of games for every system that I have ever owned where there was a point where I couldn't buy those games anymore. That's not abnormal. I want Panzer Dragoon Saga right now, and it cost me like $470.
But the point is, those systems you're talking about, those games exist somewhere physically. There is a history of those games. There are certain games on PSN, they're only digital, and they're only on PlayStation. Meaning, when they close the store, they're gone forever unless somebody somewhere got this shit downloaded. It's like a PT situation.
But what do you mean they're not gone for? Whoever bought those games still has access to them forever.
Okay, but there's actually a gaming history. It's like a gaming museum where they preserve history. They're gonna have to get a hard drive with all these games downloaded from various.
No, they don't. The people, PlayStation can, just like the Nintendo store, at any point they can pull up any game from their archives and. Like it's there. The game doesn't disappear.
So you think PlayStation is going to go to this historical museum?
No, I'm saying if there's a gaming museum, if there's a gaming museum, Sony could easily put every game from their history in that museum. Nothing is lost.
But Code, they won't even give us access to these games. Why the fuck they finna go to the gaming museum? Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
This shit is crazy.
I'm just saying that as far as a game being no longer available, that is normal. Is when I'm digital or physical, there reaches a point where a game is just no longer for sale. It always happens. That being said, I think one of the advantages of digital is that it should always be available. So I do agree with that. But and I agree with the thing, like maybe they should put it in PS Now. But all of this like fear and concern, like so much is being lost, I just don't see it, because the people who want it, who have access to it, they will continue to have access to it. The whole CMOS clock thing is just a bunch of fear mongering. Them things last 20 years.
They last forever.
They don't last like 10 years. CMOS, unless they're defective, they last a long time.
This is not a thing. I mean, the things break down over time. And even if you went all physical, if everybody went all physical right now, the very first thing you're going to do when you put in the game is you're going to have to download an update. And so that download is still going to have to, that patch is going to have to be available. All of that stuff is still there. So buying physical or digital doesn't erase the fact, if you are all physical, it does not erase the fact that you're still going to need a digital outlet, because every physical game needs one, not every game, but it is not uncommon to need a day one patch or day one download. So even if you're still going to have a heavy reliance on the digital stores. That being said, if you notice, they are changing, or they've already changed. There is a PlayStation 3 store and a Vita store, and that's like the older stuff. But if you notice, there is no PlayStation 4 store or a PS5 store. Nope. They're not separate stores for each generation. There was only the PS3 and those chumps, because that was like the beginning of everything. Now there is a unified system where it's just the store. And I guarantee you 100% that Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo are deeply vested in digital going forward. They didn't like the way Forte was robbing them with these game trade-ins at GameStop. And one of the best things that they can do is encourage a digital marketplace. And they're going to do everything in their power to remove the barriers and the fears of digital ownership. So I think that they're going to give us even more benefits. And I think there will be more things coming, because they want to make sure they don't scare people away from digital.
Right. That's good points.
So if you look at my screen, I have the Wizard of Oz. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me and Optimus. Maybe we're showing our age, right? But this certainly wasn't in no 4K Ultra when we first saw this movie. I first saw this movie in black and white, right? But here we are today. A 10-year-old, a 9-year-old girl, boy, whoever can experience this age-old movie for the first time, no different than myself, Optimus, and everybody else who's older, right? Mm-hmm. You guys are partially complaining about the wrong thing. The PS3 store closing is irrelevant. That is irrelevant, because when you think about it, worrying about the PS3 store staying open is pointless, because you need a PS3. Very few people have their PS3, and the future generations that's gonna play games and want to go back to experience the library, the legacy, they're not going to buy a PS3, right? What you got to do is take the legacy and push it forward, like they did with the Wizard of Oz. They're not going to release a brand new VHS tape of the Wizard of Oz to get people to watch the movie. The format is outdated, right? What we need to be more concerned is, okay, PlayStation, okay, Sony, you closed the store. How are you going to take this library and now add it to the store you do have? How are you going to make this work? It's how you're going to take all this content and push it forward. And I personally believe they are working on that. But if you recognize how PlayStation, they're very slow, because their number one priority is new content. Because 70% of these consoles, 80% of these consoles, I'm just making up a high number, is not going to be because you're going to watch Wizard of Oz or play fucking, Suikoden. That ain't it. Suikoden and Dino Crisis is not going to sell a PS5. Obviously, it's the new shit, so that has to be the number one priority. The number one priority has to be the new titles. Sony has to put. But just like everything else, even though they were slow to it, they did PSN name change. They added two-factor authentication. They finally gave in to crossplay. Sony will give in, right, when they see as a benefit. But those things will never be their number one priority, because at the end of the day, it's the new content that sells the consoles. So they know that. Their number one priority will always be, we got to get these AAAs out there. We got to give the big black blockbuster exclusives. We got to get the big third-party deals out there. But I'm telling you, if they can get backwards compatibility, right, and make it work on PlayStation 5, they will do it, because it's free revenue. Because the majority of people don't own the PS3 games. It's not like you have a Legion. Majority of the people don't own these games anymore, but they will rebuy it. It's free money on something that's already been made. They're like, hey guys, remember Metal Gear Solid 4? Oh shit, I used to own that. I'm gonna buy it again. Thank you, cha-ching. You just gave me free money on something that's already been created. So I'm pretty sure Sony wants to make money on shit they already made. because most people don't have that big stack of library of PS3 games, and some people, you know what I'm saying? But just like anything else, it's not their number one priority. What happened?
I don't know if I agree with that though, because there's first party. Sony, you know, even before they owned Insomniac, they had full ownership of 98% of IPs, and you cannot get every Ratchet and Clank game on PS Now right now. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, do they really care? It's so many first party Sony games not on PS Now that they fully own. Yeah. So it's like you spend no money putting those on there. Why are they not available? It does nothing but bolster the fucking catalog. You know what I mean? So why aren't these games there?
So the question, here's the thing, and this is probably way above even what I know, right? When people look at PS Now and Game Pass, there is a tax to those services. You got to pay for the servers. You got to get a cut to anybody who puts their game on, even if it's your own first party. Well, obviously that's not a first party. All the third party, there's a cut, right? But there is a certain point where you're not making enough money to sustain all the library games you have. Does that make sense? At a certain point, you put too many games, and now you have to split a pie. So, like, for example, if I'm just making up numbers, right? I'm making $1 million a month on PS Now, but out of the $1 million, I got to pay $400,000 for the upkeep and the personnel and the management, and now I gotta pay $800,000 to spread load it. But wait a minute, $800,000 plus $400,000 is $1.2 million. I made $1 million. Where the fuck is the other $200,000 gonna come from? You see what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's a balance of how much content to put on these servers before you oversaturate. Think about it. You can't just, because if it was the case, Sony could just put the entire 10,000 library on it in one shot. There's a balance.
I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, I could go on PS Now right now. Out of the 800 or so games, I can show you a good 200 games that ain't got no business being under this pure bullshit.
Probably
right?
So. Yeah, that's true.
I'd rather have a 6 or 7 Ratchet and Clank games they missing than some of that bullshit they got.
That's true.
Like,
but some of that
really curate these lists. You know what I mean?
That's true. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't understand. I don't understand the economy of this game. Like Microsoft, if you notice, they're very careful on how much games they add. They're very well balanced. They make sure shit that needs to come off, they take it off. Because again, you have to have that balance. Because at a certain point, you don't want to have too much games, and now you have to pay more.
And I get that.
What you get in.
A lot of it also has to do with licensing. If you remember, like the whole Microsoft back compat, like from 360 and the OG Xbox, and a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people are of the mind that there should be more representation from all of those generations because Xbox promised 4 generations of Xbox. The thing is, and Microsoft was very open about discussing this, the licensing for a lot of those older titles is extremely complex. And even games that was first party and they had certain licensing agreements with different people and certain places just aren't around anymore. And it's just like, there's a lot more to it than just you own the game, you should put it on the service. More often than not, and of course it's not going to be 100%, but more often than not, there are legal ramifications that are preventing them from moving forward with that kind of stuff.
All right. Shout out to Gaming. Shout out to Gaming. Let me do some shout outs. Gaming Persona said with the super chat, PlayStation said you will still be able to download the games you've purchased after the store was closed. Digital purchases during the PS3 gen wasn't at the level it is now. I can't imagine digital being over 20%. I would agree. PS3 wasn't a big digital. It was like the cusp. It was starting, but I would say majority of the games people own on PS3 are physical. I can't see. I
just bought a PS3 game 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Ni no Kuni: The Wrath of the White Witch on PS3.
All right, and the Hatsuma said some movies are lost to VHS or film forever. It just happens, period. Not all movies have been remastered. Full preservations owning previous generation. And Jack Sutcliffe, something to think about. One day Horizon and Days Gone will potentially be off PS1 day and be still on PC storefronts.
Sure, that's possible.
You know what?
I just want to make it clear, P-Rock, that you said the same thing that I said, but you just said it differently.
What?
But everybody was like,
They don't. J-Bar, I don't know what you're talking about. P-Rock said the same thing I just said. It was like,
what did I say?
You know, it's how you say it. It's how you say it. You already know that.
Like I said, I'm a professional. Listen, J-Bar. I'm the professional lawyer here. I know the right words to say. All right, that's why I gotta be your legal counsel. It's not what you say; it's how you say it to the court.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That's why we get paid.
Let me just say this, because
what did he say?
Yeah, but what did I say? What did I say?
No, because the point I brought up is that they should have something to preserve their games. Where now you have PS5, put the games on their PS5 or PS Now. Legit, what P-Rock said, it was like, yo, facts.
Yeah. So really, it's not. So it's really not about the store closing. Is that they don't have an answer to how can you adapt to this new environment and move the content forward. That's really, and I think Sony's working on that. I agree with Optimus. They're all about the digital, like the digital only console. That's that. In my opinion, it wasn't just so they can have a better, cheaper option. They want you to buy that console. That's the console they want you to buy, right? Because when you think about it, think about this, right?
Yeah.
When you own the disc-based console, you have more options on how you want to get their game. You don't like to buy the game at $70, like let's say Returnal, right? Day one. There might be a vendor who might sell the game for $50 day one, but it's physical. I remember during the PS4 gen, Amazon was selling all their games if you pre-ordered it at 20% off. So you would get all the physical games, for $50 or $48, vice to 60, right? But you have that option with physical. Digital, Sony doesn't even allow you to buy digital codes anymore. That shit is gone. You can't even buy a digital code. Yeah, you got to get their game directly from the store. They are 100% the final word, right? The first and final word on how much a digital game costs, because you can't get it anywhere else. So if you bought the PS5 all digital, you're screwed. Because if Sony says this game costs $70, even though you see on Amazon the physical costs $20, it don't matter. You screwed, because you can only get the digital version, and Sony says it's $70, regardless of how much the physical copies cost out there, right? So like Optimus, and kind of like what Ashley Lucas saying, that they're trying to cuck us at every given point. I'm pretty sure these guys want you to jump on digital, buy the all digital console, because they want to trap you. Because at that point they have no competition. All digital consoles is monopolized by Sony and technically by Microsoft. Yep. If you buy the Xbox Series S, Microsoft owns you. You can't go nowhere else to get a game. There's no deal. There's nothing. You have to get what Microsoft told you to get, and you're gonna have to deal with it. Yeah, you can. Obviously they got Game Pass, so that's a good point, right? But let's say if Microsoft decides the next year, hey, we're gonna raise Game Pass to $18. Well, you're gonna pay $18 a month.
Anybody here?
You're gonna do what you're gonna do. Huh? I didn't buy the all digital. I got the
all digital.
Oh, you have to be a fucking fool to get that all digital. Yo, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yo, Jack, I'm with you.
Let me tell you something about life. I got the all digital PS5. P-Rock is definitely over exaggerated.
He right.
Hold on. I just bought at Best Buy. I bought Deathloop for $59, and it came with a steelbook case.
So you got whatever Sony wants you to pay for that game, bro, you paying for it. If that shit $30 at Walmart, you paying the $70 that it got on the source.
But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of cases where that game will be $30 on Walmart, but there's a PSN 75% sale that the game is cheaper digitally.
No. But here's the difference. All right.
There's so many.
Hold on. But here's the difference.
PlayStation sales that go on in the store that's way cheaper than digital.
No. But see, I don't know why you're arguing with this, because I can still get that PSN. I can do what you do. You can't do what I do. If it's cheaper digital, I can still buy digital. But if it's cheaper disc, you can't do anything about it. You're gonna have to pay more. I can do what you do. You can't do what I do. You just can't. If you're gonna get you're gonna get Returnal for $70 day one. There's nothing you can do about it. But if Amazon comes out, hey, Returnal for $45, I'm gonna cop that shit for $45. You can't do that.
The funny thing is,
you don't get that option.
The funny thing is,
you see what I'm saying? Sony owns it.
Always drop what it is.
Nah, I can't. Listen, I can't disagree with that fully, because, like I said,
Yeah, physical, you have the two options, but that don't negate that the digital stuff is bad because you still get
I didn't say it was bad. I said you're at the mercy of the digital.
But
you're completely at the mercy. 100%.
But you know what else too? They have analytics. They can get to a point where they say, damn, it's so many people with the digital, we ain't got to put this shit on sale because they ain't got no other option but to buy this motherfucker at this price. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't, if they really want to be dickheads, they can do that. Like, there's so many motherfuckers with the digital.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I speak from experience. I speak from experience, all right? And I'm going to tell you why, because that situation almost happened to me. And this was Street Fighter 5. You saw day one, that game was, you know, there was a whole bunch of issues. Didn't have single player. It was only the fighter tournaments because of the whole Evo. Let's not revisit that. 3 months later, they updated the game. You know, they added the single player story mode, the training mode, all that shit, right? At that point, I'm like, yo, I'm a cop it, cool. I went to Amazon. I saw it for $30. I'm like, cool. Let me switch it to the digital edition instead of physical. That shit jumped to $59. I'm like, hold the fuck up. Then I looked on the PlayStation Store. It was $59. I'm like, I'm about to pay twice the price? Oh, hell no. I went back to physical. And I bought it for physical for $29. Yeah, the same game that was double the price. After that, I knew this digital shit, you got to be careful. Because you got to be careful with that.
I can't agree.
How can you not agree? I didn't make up a lie. That really happened. Listen, Jabari, 1 + 1 = 2 is not an opinion.
You're talking about one instance.
No.
At the end of the day, I'm not saying that physical, you know, digital is better than having a physical PS5. If you want that, I'm just saying that your statement, what you said earlier, is over exaggerated because every fucking week there's like a PSN sale that you get games that we talked about. Yeah, because that's a brand new.
Yeah, I just bought a brand new game, Deathloop, from Best Buy for $60, and I got a steal.
I got Deathloop
brand new. I didn't have it there.
Deathloop on PSN, $53.
Oh yeah, Deathloop.
But no, still okay.
Well, whatever I paid, it was less than the digital version.
Because you got a
steal. I got the steel book.
The steel book, yeah.
Yeah, the steel book. You know, I got the digital trinkets. You know, $53.
I got that.
The reality is this, right? You bought the all digital, which is cool, whatever, right? Because you probably gave up on physical, right? And you saved yourself $100. But the reality is, this is what I don't understand. You could still do the same thing with the physical edition.
Yeah, with the option. Yeah.
Because it's the same thing.
You can, but I didn't like the physical how it looked, and I had the option. Oh, I could pay $100 more for something.
So the $100 was a sticking point.
I'm not going. Yo, bro, I had the PS4 all my generation. I have not used this trait ever on the PS4.
So what was it? Was it the look, or was it the price of the system that was the breaking point for you?
The look, the price. As if I'm going to get something cheaper, where I'm already doing 100% digital. I really feel that people over exaggerate when it comes to digital because a lot of these sales is on digital. You talk to somebody that is 100% digital.
They do a lot of digital sales, but you're not going to get most of these games within the first 3 weeks to a month.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I'll put it this way. Yeah. Let me look at here. I'll show you right now.
Go ahead.
I'll show you right now.
I'll just share with you what like my thought process because I'm with you, Bari. I buy a bunch of digital games and stuff, but it's only games that I know I'm going to play. Like I want to keep, like games that I'm like, yo, like when Halo Infinite comes out. I mean, well, that's a bad example because I don't have to buy it; it's on Game Pass. But like God of War for PlayStation 5, that game when it comes out, I'm going to buy a digital copy because I know I'm never going to get rid of it, and I know it's something I'm going to always go back and play. But something like Returnal, if I do buy it, I'm gonna buy it physical so I can take it back to the store if I decide to get rid of it. It's just like all these people that go out and spend $100 on NBA 2K and $60 and $70 on Madden. Why are you buying a digital game that in literally 6 to 7 months you'll never play again? And it's just going to sit on your hard drive and you get no monetary value for it.
The thing is with digital as well, like Digital, yeah. With physical, you get a lot of freedom with physical, but digital, you get a lot of convenience. You know what I mean? It comes with I can instantly switch to my games in an instant. I preload my games. 12 o'clock hit, I can play whatever game I'm anticipating for right there, rather than waiting for a physical. All that stuff. There's a lot of convenience that comes with digital. Where physical, yeah, it might be you have the more freedom to how you want to play your games, but I like that convenience.
So I'm gonna say this. Here's the thing. So day one, right? I'm gonna show you. These are the first 5 games I bought day one when I got my PS5, right? At $70 a piece, you're looking at $350, right? I didn't pay $350 though. I paid $221.
Nice.
Because Target had a deal and stuff like that.
Oh, buy 2 get 1 free.
Yeah.
I remember.
So whoever did this with me, if you all digital, you pay $350. There's no way around it. There was no day one deals for digital. None. There was no day one deals.
What games?
Okay.
Nah, I know what he's talking about because I bought.
There was no day one deals in the digital store for any of these games.
I bought Assassin's Creed. I bought Spider-Man, and I bought
none.
And I bought Godfall, and I got what was it? Godfall for free.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Because buy 2 get 1 free.
You see what I'm saying? So the whole point is like the whole point is if you're all digital, like if you buy the PS5 all digital, if you buy the Xbox Series S, and I'm sure Microsoft is planning to release an all digital Series X. It's gonna come, right? You're at the mercy of what they dictate because there's no other place, there's no competition on their own console. You're just gonna get what they tell you to get and pay whatever price they tell you price. Sure, you're gonna have the sales of digital, right? But like I said, those, like, let's say them Black Friday deals on physical games, yo, them shits get crazy, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's crazy, right? Right? And then let's say, and here's another example. Barry, did you buy Black Ops Cold War?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you still play it?
No, I don't like the game.
So if you would have bought it physical, you probably could have traded it in.
I don't have your money, brother, man. Yo, even when I was physical PS3, I never traded the game in.
Why not?
You still got all your PS3 games?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you're a collector. You're a collector. You know what I'm saying?
No, I just have the disc. I still have them.
Yeah,
but you converted to digital, and you're a collector.
Oh. Yeah, I converted to digital because I like the convenience. No, at the end of the day, me personally, physical. I'm not negating anything that you say physical, but with digital, I can have a nice, clean setup where I can have my hard drive, have all these stuff there, and have all the convenience and all the features that I can get digitally. I can play my games day one right there at 12 o'clock in the night where I see people on Twitter still waiting on my games. All right, sit your ass down. I'll be playing. I'll be spoiling the game for you, putting a screenshot up. I tell Porter right now is playing. He's playing
exclusive, Jay. You can do all of that with both systems. You don't need all digital to do those things.
You can't. I'm not negating that. But he's saying that you can, but he still is buying physical disc. You know what I mean? So if Porter Rock is on 2K right now, I'm like, Porter Rock, yo, come on, man, come on, play some Godfall, man. Oh wait, let me load this shit up in my.
Man, that's like 30 seconds. And especially Godfall multiplayer is trash anyway, so you gotta wait.
Even with the physical copies, they still treating them shits like digital anyway.
That Jay Murray is lazy and doesn't want to get up and put a disc in the system.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard,
bro. I love
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you put the disc in, the games aren't reading off the disc no more. So it's not like. It's still on the hard drive, so it's really just a minute.
They treat it like it's physical.
You know what I'm saying? Ashton Luca, she says, so you can buy the PS5 digital partially because it's cheaper and digital sells, but question Outriders on Game Pass. Brother Barry, sir, good sir.
Somebody will say that.
Good sir.
Yo, you see, when you have the best list on YouTube, a lot of people love to miss your points because not only was the price was the point, I said the look. Yo, day one when I saw that PS5, I was like, yo, I do not want. And they announced the digital right away. I said, that's what I'm getting.
If all those systems look the same and they were both for you you would still have bought that $400 system because the price meant more. Let's be for real.
No. Yo, Persona's in the chat. You can ask anybody. Whoever watched my live stream. The price was in the fact.
Talking about the pregnant PlayStation 5. I remember.
The look is more the factor. Because I even though I still bought 2 physical PS5s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you wouldn't sell one to our peoples and stuff. You was up here holding out on people like
that. I kept my digital because how it looked.
He's up here.
J Bar don't sell to Xbox. Y'all don't buy games. He refuses. He refuses. He refuses to let greatness. All right. Hey, hit the like button. Let's go on to the next topic. And I want Jack Move to lead the conversation. Right? He's just all types of pissed off. Right? Jack Move. Indie situation. Yes, what is going on with PlayStation and indies? What is happening here?
Man, I wish I had a more definitive answer on this, but this is what I can tell you, right? I'm sure, most of the people in the chat recall, the years of 2013, 2014.
Yeah, pretend we have no idea what's going on. Enlighten us.
Yeah, man, 2014, PlayStation got such a tight relationship with some of these devs, man. They getting called the Indie Station 4. You know what I mean?
Yep, Xbox. They called us that.
Oh, absolutely.
Resoho, remember Resoho?
Yeah, man. Cell phone dog shit, indie games that they made that all type of crazy shit, right? They had initiatives like PlayStation Love Indies. I read articles about PlayStation funding a lot of indie games that they had no ownership in. They might have had an exclusivity deal, but they're fully funded games like Velocity 2X.
Yeah. They had indies at E3.
Yeah, absolutely. That was game of stage.
The biggest stage.
Biggest stage. Showed them plenty love, right? PlayStation Plus, just all type of initiatives with indie titles. And like I said, man, they had it real tight. As a matter of fact, a lot of these games were coming exclusively to PlayStation. They might drop on PC as well. But as far as the console home for indie games, shit like Transistor, Hotline Miami 1 and 2. Guacamelee was exclusive for a period of time. I can go on and on with this. Great, highly rated, touted indie games, man. But for the past couple of years, man, I've seen their interest in indie titles wane quite heavily. They still get the indie titles here. They got a real big game like Fall Guys was a real big game. They got Disco Elysium today. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is, man, there's a lot. I've seen severed relationships. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know if they just don't give a fuck anymore. But their relationship with a lot of these indie devs is turning bad, man. Devolver Digital on PlayStation was thick as thieves at one point, man. Like I said, Hotline Miami 2. All Devolver Digital games was PlayStation, PC. That's all you seeing. They might come to something else later on. But now you seeing shit like every other platform except PlayStation. It's like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Perfect example. A game, Carry On, right? That game just won a BAFTA award. This on every single other gaming platform except the PlayStation. Another game, tearing up the streets right now. Hades, right?
Yeah, I heard of Hades.
Hades winning tons of awards. That's a super giant game. Super giant games. Besides their first title, all their other games was exclusive to PC and PlayStation. They came out with Transistor, PC, and PlayStation for many years. Pyre, PlayStation, PC for many years, exclusive. They came to other platforms eventually. Actually, Pyre's still only on PlayStation and PC. But my point is, Hades came out 3 fucking years ago and is touching everything except PlayStation. It's even rumored to come to the Xbox before PlayStation. What world are we living in? Another developer, right? Drinkbox Studios. This is a studio. They've made games like Guacamelee 1 and 2 games that had PlayStation exclusivity in some form or fashion. They made exclusive Vita games. They made a game called Severed that was exclusive to PlayStation Vita for a very long time. It ended up covering other things. They announced a new game at the Xbox Showcase the other day. Then they announced it on their official Twitter page. They announced PC. It's coming to PC and it's coming to Xbox. Still nowhere to PlayStation. We don't know if it's ever coming to PlayStation, right? Another example, Image and Form Games. They had a really great relationship. They alternate who they really fuck with, but they usually stick with PlayStation and Nintendo, right? Their last game was Steam World Quest, Hand to Gilgamesh, right? Not only is it on PC, Nintendo, they even went to Google Stadia, right? I played it on Google Stadia.
Now that's just an insult.
They even went to Google State. I hit up the devs. I got a little relationship with them. I'm like, hey, yo, love the game. When we get the PlayStation version? You know what they told me? There is no plans to bring this game to PlayStation. We just ain't, they pretty much told me they're not doing it, right? After having exclusive games on PlayStation and the Vita. Their next game, The Gunk, they've already said it's only going to be on Xbox. It's never coming to PlayStation. After working with these guys, getting your games funded by PlayStation. So, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. Like I said, we still getting games. Another example, Among Us. One of the biggest indie games right now. It even overthrew Fall Guys. Among Us is on every other gaming platform except PlayStation, okay? There is an issue going on with PlayStation and indie games. I don't fucking like it, bro.
Holy
at all.
God damn, bro.
He's spitting fire.
Now let me ask the panel members this, everybody. Do you think Sony, because so I remember everything Jack was talking about with indies, right? Indie Station, but they had a lot and they curated it. Do you think PlayStation's big AAA first party kind of, how can I put it, is a bit too successful to the point where Sony's not like, you know what, fuck these indies. The real money is the Days Gone. It's the Horizon Zero Dawn. It's the God of War. We need to create we need to triple down on this shit.
Let me get in here because I haven't been able to get in for a while.
Fuck Among Us. We want Last of Us 3. Like that type of mentality.
Tomorrow, people talking about Jim Ryan's ruining PlayStation. I would wait because I believe tomorrow, Sony will announce their numbers. They're for their shareholders. So if Jim Ryan's steering the ship wrong, you're gonna find out tomorrow.
But we're not talking about profit.
They still doing record numbers.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the
this guy.
Okay, but Kenna Bridge of Spirits is an indie that is coming to PlayStation.
Absolutely.
Returnal is an indie.
Absolutely.
That is not okay.
Returnal is not an indie, guys.
Yeah, Returnal's not an indie.
Technically, it is though.
Technically, it is.
It's not. Bro. They had 3 podcasts talking about development of the game, claiming it is a AAA game.
Okay, but
no. You can have a AAA game that's indie though. The Witcher is technically an indie game. You can have a AAA game that's indie.
No, AAA and the indie, those can't be the same.
No, that's not. Wait. Indie means independent, right? You can independent.
That's what it means.
You can end up, and AAA lends to the budget. You can have a highly budgeted game that does not have a parent company funding it, or you can have a AAA.
But they do though, Jack.
No, hold on, Jack. So an independent game is a smaller studio that doesn't have a big budget.
Hold on, wait a minute. CD Projekt Red is not owned by anybody, and they made The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk. Aren't those AAA games?
But they are publishing their games. PlayStation.
Yeah, they are Returnal.
That does not matter. Okay, even in place. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
Being funded by Sony for Returnal. That game is not being developed independently. The game is being funded.
Jay Raymond's game is an independent. She's got an independent studio.
Oh my god!
So again,
that is not what those terms mean at all.
But look, though.
Well, again, like I said, my point is that those games are coming to PlayStation. Now, the Porter Rock's question: did the AAA games get to the point where they kind of bumpered the card all the other smaller titles out? Possibly, but didn't they put somebody in charge of the independent studios? I can't remember who it was. So, all right, so let's give him some time. Okay, let's give him a little bit of time to get that turned around. I mean, I understand.
We're not going to do that. Xbox.
No, because the thing, there's nothing. I'm gonna say this. I disagree with that because there was nothing to turn around though. Everything was going full steam.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
So what was there to turn around? Everything was going great. If anything, Jack was just saying, keep it going. Like, just don't change. Just do what you always do.
That's what I just said. Okay, and so if the ship's been wronged, we're gonna find out in a day or two.
Well, I don't think those numbers are going to really speak to that because I think if you call a spade, PlayStation doesn't feel like they don't need indies as much as they needed them in 2013. They needed that was a stopgap. Well, 2013 was a stopgap, and they went and trust. And the thing is, they're spending more money on all of these AAA and second these. They're spending the money where they feel like it's more important for them to spend it.
Go ahead. Say that's fine. That is fine. My point is that if they are going to, do they need to? Did they see Did this guy taking over the independent thing? Is that Sony recognizing that there could have been an issue, or there was an issue?
The funny thing is, it may not even be a PlayStation thing. Honestly, it might be the fact that Xbox is being so aggressive because they have a service that they got to fund, and they're spearheading that with these developers, like in the beginning of them actually making these games and stuff. Like they're going out and talking to them months and years ahead of times, and they're building those partnerships beforehand because they have a service that they got to keep people subscribed to. So that might be part of the reason why it's happening that way. It might not even be a Sony problem at this point.
But you know what else too? And both of y'all are saying, but to the Craig thing, I think it is an issue because even if they still doing record numbers, us as consumers, we're still getting less. You see what I'm saying? So, but this is my thing. I agree with Forte because if you listen to a lot of indie devs, they'll tell you, lack of a better term, PlayStation fans really don't buy these indie games. They really don't. You know, because the people ridicule them, they make fun of them, and they make more money on systems like the Switch. And this whole situation the Switch coming out kind of correlates when you see the Switch, no pun intended, when you see the Switch and a lot of these indie titles picking things like the Nintendo and then shit like Game Pass because they getting their money up front. And I just feel like, but then again, you got games like what's that, Bug Snacks, right? Bug Snacks made more than Octodad, even though it was on PlayStation Plus. You see what I'm saying? They made their development budget back, all type of crazy shit. They were saying people still buying the game even though it was free to play or whatever. But I definitely think the Switch messed up PlayStation's indie. I think that aided. I definitely did.
So, Jack, what are you saying, that there's just not enough indies, or are you saying that they have abandoned indies and they moving away from them completely?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like they don't have the same emphasis that they did. They put Shuhei in charge of indie, but he feels more like just like a figurehead. It don't seem like he really doing shit, if I'm being honest. This dude tweet out more about him playing Fall Guys, and I got the platinum in this game. Bitch, where the new games at? Like every once in a while he'll tweet a game coming out, but it ain't to the level that it used to be, man. I love Shuhei, man. I really do, but how long has he been in charge, man? I'm really not.
How long has he been running that department? How long has he been in that department?
What, about a year and a half? 2 years? Well, I don't know.
All I'm saying is, okay, either they don't care, or maybe it's a little bit of everything, but I'm willing to give the guy, because I'm willing to give him a shot to see if he can get it turned around. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong. Do not put words in my mouth. I'm just saying I'll give him a little more time. But what you brought, the receipts you brought about those developers, that's real too. I'm just saying I'm going to give it a little more time, but I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm not saying you don't have a legitimate point at all.
But Craig, why does he need more time to turn something around that was never turned around?
Shuhei already had clout too, though. We got to remember he was the head of all the first party studios. So that reputation already there with all
we're getting game. We got Jack Mood just brought up Bug Snacks. You're getting Kenna. Those are
plenty of indie still,
but as far as it being, is it the preferred platform? Is that what that's what's being said? And like I said, I'm just saying, hey, look, if they did drop the ball, we're gonna find out here. I'm gonna find out tomorrow when they release their numbers. You know, because that's all they care about is, hey, look, you know, Jim Ryan is Jim Ryan is a new coach. Jack Movie, you're a sports fan. You know, when a new coach comes in there, he's going to put his stamp on that team, and the players that are already there are going to feel, most of the time, they feel some kind of way. You know, and that's what I think the PlayStation community is going through. There's a new coach. They're going in a different direction. And there are some people that do 10-hour podcasts bitching instead of just kind of waiting to see
you kind of got to look at Porter right when he did his video a couple of days ago where he's talking about the revenue between the different companies. PlayStation at $25 billion in revenue doing what they're doing. I don't think you're going to see anything outside of the ordinary when they do that revenue call tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think they've pretty much been doing exactly like, $25 billion in a year is ridiculous.
For gaming, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So is Jim Ryan
let me say this.
Up there, are they really running the car off?
It's optics, right? So look at it this way. And I'm not saying things are tied. It's just a little bit fishy. Some things that's happening over the last year or two. All right, we'll start with PlayStation 4 games going to PC, right? Now, not super detrimental to the PlayStation 5, but it's fishy because PlayStation 5 wasn't going through that during the PlayStation 4. They're like, okay. And now
Sean Layton said that was going to happen.
But listen. Let me listen to the whole big picture, right? Okay. Look how PlayStation 4 fans were treated versus PlayStation 5. And I don't mean maybe treated is a bad word, but look at the optics between the two scenarios, right? With PlayStation 5 in this gen, how it's ending, you're seeing games going to PC. So people are wondering, do I now have the ability to choose a different platform? Or do I still need a PlayStation 5 to play these games? Is it going day and day? We don't know, right? Okay. Now all of a sudden, how come these big indies are not showing up on PlayStation when before, when I had a PlayStation 4, it was like the preferred platform. Kind of like what Jack Move alluded to, right? When you look at all these, when you look at these little bits and pieces, PlayStation 3 store closing down, games going to PC, a lot of big indie games like Hades, whatever, they're never going to PlayStation. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? If you go to the PlayStation 4, it was kind of like the opposite. It was like exclusives was being built. Oh my God, indies are being made first with PlayStation. It felt like everything was centered, like the gaming industry is centered around PlayStation 4. And Sony was like, fuck everything else, right? Hell, their whole, how would you say, damage control behind creating the PS4 Pro, they literally said they made that to try to keep PlayStation gamers on the PlayStation platform because they saw over time with the PlayStation 1, 2, or 3, gamers would leave the PlayStation ecosystem and go over to PC eventually because of the better performance. They said this themselves. They said themselves they made the Pro to keep PlayStation gamers on PlayStation by providing them a better performing console so they have no reason to leave. And now you're seeing them putting their killer apps on PC, which I'm not saying that PS5 is confirmed to be day one PC, but at the same time, are you willing to bet $1,000 that it's not going to PC? I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm not going to put my money on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they are, but at the same time, I'm not going to say that they aren't either. But when you go back to the PS4 during that time, I would have easily bet during those first 5 years or whatever. Yeah, them games are not going to PC. Hell, they're making the Pro and they're telling you it's because they don't want you to go to PC. They're literally telling you that. They made the Pro because they saw from their experience people leaving the PlayStation ecosystem for PC because of better hardware and better performance. They're trying to prevent that. But now their games are going to PC, which I'm like, it is what it is because I'm at the PS5 gen. I don't care if PC gamers are playing my sloppy seconds. As long as right now I bought a PS5 and they're developing exclusive PS5, if the game comes to PC 2-3 years later, I'm not concerned about that. But let's say they did make the decision to the day and date, I will cut over to PC. Because now, if industry just becomes a multi-plat industry, there is no more focus on one hardware, then I'm going to get the hardware that does it the best. There's no reason for me to cheat myself out if the company's not interested in doing the work
PlayStation won't be the primary platform after that.
I won't, and it is what it is. It's not. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's the issue. We're seeing a lot of things that's kind of like moving away from PlayStation, not drastically. It's not the end of the world, right? But it's just weird given how PlayStation started with PS4. They were so hardcore focused on the PS4. It was ridiculous, right? Now, of course, you can say it's all about money. They just made $25 billion. So like, what the fuck? Like, so it's not like you guys are hurting for money. You're doing You're doing better than what you did with PS2. So it definitely isn't because nobody was buying games on PS4. Nobody was, supporting the console. People weren't subscribing. No, clearly they are. Because PS5 isn't the main revenue for that $25 billion. It's the PlayStation 4 still. That's the main money maker.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's just kind of weird. Like, where are you going with this, Sony? The one thing I give Microsoft is, as much they talk too much, but at least when they do talk, you know what they're doing. They're not hiding shit. They're not sugarcoating it. They told you 2 years ago, Game Pass is the way. Now people are trying to see it. Like, if it's like, oh shit, it's all about Game Pass. Well, no shit. Phil Spencer told you that 2 years ago. That's what he's doing. That's the direction he's going. Now, he's putting in the money. He got the backing. He's making it bigger. But if you didn't know Game Pass was going to be the platform, meaning it's no longer going to be Xbox console, it's going to be Game Pass, and these are the devices you can play Game Pass on, then you weren't listening. And I give Phil Spencer props.
Yeah.
You knew what you were getting to. It's just whether you were listening to them or not. PlayStation, I still don't fucking know what the fuck their end game is. I don't know what their end game is. I honestly don't know. But guess what? I take things for what they is right now. But I will definitely get me a gaming PC. Because that decision's already done. Because I feel the ultimate safest option when it's all said and done is that platform. Because no one can fuck with that platform because no one owns it.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that really, like what you just said, I think a lot of other people, maybe not now, maybe in a year, probably 2 years from now, they're going to have to make that same decision. The more PlayStation moves in the direction that they're moving in with all these yellow caution flags out there, people are going to start making like, yo, is it really viable for me to play on this system if I have a PC that can handle all this stuff? Sooner or later, that's going to be a decision they have to make in, individuals as a gamer. The one thing I will say about Xbox that they greased the wheels back in 2015 by doing Play Anywhere and all this other stuff that they added, had Xbox fans all in an uproar about it. Like, why are games going to PC? We ain't exclusive games anymore. And stuff
that decision was done.
Yeah. And over the course of the last 5 years, they literally converted their player base over to the understanding that Xbox isn't just Xbox anymore. It's basically everywhere we can put our games, and we got a service to do that for. And we're not saying that PlayStation is going to do that anytime soon. I don't think PlayStation has to go day and date. Maybe at some point in the future they might have to do that, but as of right now, they don't have to. But what's going to happen is in the next year to 2 years, or even think about it right now, all of this stuff that's happening with PlayStation when it comes to closing stores, people not being able to find PS5s in stores. Now you can't even find a PS4 in a store right now. So what happens when these people keep hearing about all this stuff? They say that Xbox pops up, or maybe those GPUs come available at Micro Center or something like that. Mm-hmm. They might be like, well, I can just play on PC and get most of these games whenever they come out, because we've seen that Sony's willing to do that. You're setting a precedence that PlayStation fans haven't been used to, because let's be for real, PlayStation fans are spoiled because they got everything. Y'all got every game y'all possibly wanted available on your platform. You got all the best third-party games. You got all the best first-party games. And let's be for real, that was the platform to play on if you wanted to have the greatest gaming experience during this last generation. And this generation coming up looks like PlayStation's taking away a lot of that identity, and they're doing it little by little. And I think that's the thing that's rubbing people in PlayStation kind of the wrong way. And don't let these Xbox people kind of sway you on that, because they're just doing what PlayStation people did to them all last generation. It's just coming around. But ultimately, just stick with the platform that you love. And if it comes down to them putting stuff on other platforms, then guess what? PC will be the prominent platform for everybody to play on in the near future.
Yeah. Well, and again, and all Sony wanted back from Microsoft was market share. Once they got that back, and again, if they're going to report that they sold over 6 million consoles, and I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, don't put words in my mouth, but if they report that, with everything that's going on in the world, they're going to take a big old victory lap because they're going to be like, here is our market share. You know, we've got this giant footprint and we made more money than our competitors combined. So don't be shocked if if those are real. I know those are leaked numbers. They're not officially sort of out, but if that's true, they're fine. They're going to be looking at it like even in a pandemic, we're kicking everybody's ass. So they're fine. They just wanted the market share back. You know, once they got that back, it was just okay. Let's finish releasing these games, and then we can change it up a little bit.
But that's setting yourself up for some type of letdown, because as much as like those numbers that Puerto Rico talked about, 25 billion, most of that is PlayStation 4. There's 125 to 130 million of those things out there, and that really contributes to that number. You're talking about a brand new generation where people still have to make a decision on systems they want to buy. Right now, PlayStation is by far the most wanted system out in the world. Everybody wants a PlayStation 5. But the more news like this happens, closing stores, games going to PC, it's going to make people think about their purchases going forward. But like Puerto Rock said, Xbox has been super consistent. We always know where PC is. PC is just PC. So that's going to be the decision people got to make over the next year. And PlayStation is not doing themselves no favors by doing stuff the way that they're doing.
And y'all not going to see this as a big deal, but PlayStation has pretty much told the Japanese market to go fuck themselves. What do I mean? What do I mean by that? Since the creation of PlayStation in 1994, the circle and X buttons were reversed in Japan, right? When the PS5 came out, they said, hey, I know y'all got this muscle memory. Fuck y'all. Y'all playing with the American controls. They only Japanese studio, the main with Sony Japan, they told them they not making no more new IPs. So now they work. I don't know what the fuck they were. I guess XDev shit. They damn near closed down, right? So Studio Japan, that's non-existent. They're heavily censoring games in Japan, even more than the ESRB over there told them they gotta censor them, right? They're censoring more than that, right? So, you know, and of course the Switch is the hottest thing selling in Japan. You got this fat ass PS5. People don't even like console gaming in Japan anymore. So, listen, man, I just don't understand. I don't understand the end goal. And you know, I used to think people were stupid when they was complaining about like, oh, PlayStation moving their headquarters to America and it's gonna fuck them. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? You sound stupid right now, right? But shit, maybe they was on to something, because since they moved from there, we've just been seeing the trickle down effects of them not giving a fuck about other regions, which they don't affect us as much. But overall, since we talking about financials, I mean, shit, we gonna see how they turn out. But
yeah, it's a trend line. I'm sure that they could see the trend line of what they were doing in Japan versus somewhere else. It's kind of like, well, you know, we're losing market share in Japan. We're not gaining anything. So, we're moving headquarters to the United States. I'm not saying you're wrong, but there's other things going on. I mean, they really did want market share back from Microsoft. And when they got it, plus extra, they were just like, okay, we're good, because they're going to, no matter what, they want to be able to come out to their shareholders and say, we got the biggest footprint, we're going to sell the most consoles, so we're good. That's what they want. But all the other nuanced stuff, okay, fine, you know. But like Forte just said, don't pay no attention to it. But
yeah, I think the biggest move that people really need to pay attention to is the fact that when PlayStation said we're not releasing worldwide day one, that should have told you something. They literally basically wanted to fight Microsoft on their own turf here in America. They said we're dedicating most of our consoles to the North America market. Yeah. Because they know that's where Microsoft is the strongest at. That's where Microsoft in the 7th generation pretty much dominated them by like 20-something million systems and stuff. So they're like, we can't let Microsoft get a hold of America because we already know we can win the rest of the world. So they decided day one that we're going to fight here in America and we're going to let the rest of the world catch up over the course of time.
Now, what do you think that number will be? Do you think that is a sound strategy early based on what could
you got to think it was like a 8 to 9 million system gap this generation. I mean, even though an Xbox is getting destroyed when it came to last generation, it wasn't as bad in America because that's where they sold most of their systems. It was just it was like a huge disparity, like in Europe and the UK and stuff like that, where Xbox literally sold like a quarter of what PlayStation's like 20 to 30 million systems, and Xbox sold 5. So that's kind of what the disparity was, but it was never a problem in America for the most part. They still got outsold by like a good 10 to 15, probably 20 million, but PlayStation still knows that this is where we have to fight them at, and we have to be able to come out strong here because we don't want to lose people in the beginning like we did back in the 7th generation.
Yeah, agreed.
Shout out.
We'll find out tomorrow if they slap them down.
We already know. It's like 25 billion.
We already know that. We don't even know what Xbox. We don't even know what Xbox did because they'll never tell us.
Oh no, we can find that out. No, you can find out what they're doing. I mean, trust me, But I mean, that's the thing is that
the only number you're going to get out of them is Game Pass being 25 million subscribers whenever it hits
and percentages. They don't.
Well, you
have to go to the analyst for a projection. But Ashton Lucas, she said, as Jack should be, Jim Judas Iscariot Ryan. She calls him Judas.
Love it.
Yeah, she calls him Judas. Yeah, she calls him Judas. Sold us out for gold pieces, you bastard. And then
you had people complaining about them converting games to movies when they specifically said they were going to do that 2.5 to 3 years ago. I mean, you can actually pull the articles, and it clearly says that's how they're looking to do.
At the end of the day, some of these indies that are not on PlayStation, how dare you not put them on PlayStation? The fuck is wrong with you?
How dare you?
Get these shits on PlayStation. I don't want to hear no statistics because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if the game is on Game Pass. People not playing it. I don't give a damn if you got paid up front. They're not gonna play it. What them don't want their game
Even third party Octopath Traveler.
That blows my mind, and that's from Square Enix.
That joint's crazy to me.
Well, that lets me know. That lets us know that Square don't care.
I agree.
Don't care about
but that's a backwards message because look what they're doing. Final Fantasy Forsaken, not Forsaken, Forwoken, whatever the fuck that game is called. Forspoken.
That's why you don't hear
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm thinking. I think Sony doesn't give a fuck about indies. They're like, and it's hard to. It's only assumption, but I think they saw their value focusing on their AAA exclusives and AAA third party more than going after indies. I think we gave, I ain't gonna say we gave, but I think the mass success of Days Gone and then these big third party titles that came first on PlayStation or at least timed exclusives or stood, I think that really pushed Sony on a deeper level. So when they look at shit like Transistor and whatever, they're like, man, fuck this bullshit. For the amount of money we make with 1,000 indies, this one-time exclusive Final Fantasy made 3 times more money. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm afraid, maybe afraid is a strong word. I'll say this. If that is what Sony wants to double down, if they want to double down on AAA first party, if they want to double down on AAA third party, all right? If that's what you want to do, then simply coming out with 2 AAA games in a 7-year period ain't gonna cut it. When you look at Guerrilla, all they really did was a shitty ass Shadowfall, and yes, Jay Barry, Killzone sucks ass. Shadowfall sucks ass.
Facts.
And they got Horizon Zero Dawn. That's it.
Well, that's it. Were instrumental in creating that engine.
That's it. That's not a game. That's just an engine. That's it.
Fair enough. But
they did nothing. No, you're right. They did nothing. 2 games. That's what Horizon. And one of them was whack.
Gorilla has one great game and a whole bunch of bullshit on the belt.
That's it.
If we being real, bro,
Santa Monica. Santa Monica.
We get time period too. In that time period, Gorilla closed down a studio too. In that time period.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Gorilla. Santa Monica. Right? No doubt. Great developer Cory Barlog. But technically, he only did 1 fucking game.
I'm gonna shoot them some bail though.
God of War 2018.
They do a lot of smaller
what
games
other
though.
bullshit they do? Nobody gives a fuck about See by the Call or whatever. Nah, God of War. That's all we remember them. God of War. That's it.
Behind the scenes, though.
Yeah. But Santa Monica is one of those studios that they go to like other studios to help them out a lot.
They help port a lot of indie games.
Like who? Why indie games?
Journey, all them type shits. It's a lot of.
But that was on PS4. That was on PS4.
Nah, it's a lot of games they do.
You see what I'm saying? But let me put it this way: if Santa Monica is now in full blown AAA mode, like you ain't doing Journey no more, you're not going out helping out these students. Nah, fuck that. Do AAA. You need to come out with 3 or 4 games this gen.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're gonna double down,
I agree with that.
If you're gonna double down on AAA, fine, double down on AAA. But we gotta get more than fucking 2 and maybe a DLC. We better see some new IPs. It's gotta go back. It's gotta go back.
4 games.
It's gotta go back to the PlayStation 2 days.
4 games from Naughty Dog and PS3.
Wait a minute.
4 games,
bro.
Like
Santa Monica canceled the game, if y'all remember.
Yeah,
that's right. They did cancel the game. You see what I'm saying?
Santa Monica canceled the game, and
Vedja says
came out with 2 games.
Now Vedja said
came out with 4 games actually.
I mean, when you look at PS3 and even before that, PS3, right? Gorilla, man, just those days they made so many fucking games. Came out with a bunch of games for that generation. They just made so many goddamn games. There was like 3, 4, 5 games and shit. Rockstar, Jesus Christ, you couldn't keep up with the amount of games they were making. Now they made one that lasts 3 generations.
Yeah, it leads to it. Well, yeah, that's a good point. Because PS3 they was in desperate mode too because
that's how they came back.
They was bleeding money. And they were still pumping out mad games.
Yo, it's cool. Yo,
Vedja always say.
Vedja asked, oh my bad. He says on Super Chat. Vedja says, "Isn't Returnal made by an indie developer?"
Yes.
So, let's finish that topic real quick. Jack Move, Optimus, you here? Okay, so we'll start with Jack Move. Jack Move, what is your definition of indie development?
Indie. Okay, I wanted to say something. Okay.
So your definition, technically, what is indie development?
Technically. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna use an example.
When we say indie games, what is that definition?
Okay. Now, if Returnal, the IP is owned by Sony and they're funding it, but it's developed by an independent studio, that's technically considered a second party game. I don't know if y'all know that. That's a second party game.
Kind of like Resistance.
Yes, that's a second party game.
Okay.
Yep.
My view of independent is that it can be, as long as it's developed by an independent studio, it's an independent game, in my opinion. Because there are independent games, like I said, Velocity 2X. Sony funded that game. They do not own the IP. It's on every other platform now, but originally it was only on PlayStation 4. But that's an independent game. And publishing does not matter as well, because like I said, you got to look at publishing like this. CD Projekt Red games were published by WB in America, but they're not published by WB in other territories. You know what I'm saying? So it's still independently developed, even though it's funded by somebody else. I still consider that an independent game.
Okay, Optimus, what is your view, or when somebody says an indie game, how do you see it described?
Well, so it's more than one thing. So, and a lot of times people conflate the 2 things. So it's an independent studio, and then there's the notion of an independent game. And those 2 are not the same things. An independent studio is just somebody that's on their own and they're not owned by like a bigger publisher. So in this example, Housemarque is an independent studio. Game being an indie game, though, just because it's made by an indie studio doesn't mean it's an indie game. An independent game means it was made with the funding of those independent studio with no money, with no support from a bigger publisher. So an independent studio can make an independent game. An independent studio can also make a AAA game. It depends on how the game is funded. AAA is a matter of funding, not studio who owns it. And so more than likely what will happen is they'll hire more people. The game will be bigger because the budget is bigger. More motion capture, like just a ton of stuff goes up because they have the budget. So you can have an independent studio, you can have an independent game. You can have a studio like Santa Monica, and they can go make an independent game that's not funded by Sony, even though they are a AAA studio.
Okay. Let me
AAA is a notion of budget.
Okay. I don't agree with that though, because there's games that's funded and they have big budgets, but they still consider independent games though. Like
what? Give us an example.
Like Returnal is considered an independent game, even though it has a AAA budget, according to them. I'm sitting up here looking at it right now. They consider it an independent game. Like,
so the size of the budget will determine if it's AAA. AAA is a designation of budget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you can be independent and still have a budget. Like, okay, a perfect example, right? The first Ninja Turtles movie, right? The very first 1990 or 1991 Ninja Turtles movie. That movie had a $90 million budget in fucking the 90s, and it was published by New Line Cinema, but that was an independent movie. And to that point, that was the highest grossing independent movie to ever come out. It was funded by somebody else, but it was published by somebody else, but it was still an independent movie.
So the question, let me ask you this, Jack.
Hold on. So as a game, if Housemarque is given $50 million to make a game, that is an independent studio being funded to make a game.
A AAA game.
Being contracted.
No, that's not AAA. That's not AAA.
50 million?
Right, but if they are given $300 million or $150 million to make that same game, now that game is a AAA game because it is the size of the budget that determines the classification of the game, but that doesn't change the classification of the studio. They are still an independent studio. So an independent studio in the same year can make a AAA game and an indie game. It is the size of the budget that determines the designation for the game, but not the studio itself.
Indie and AAA aren't even interchangeable terms. So those are two different classifications on a game.
Well, indie studio or indie game? Because you keep mixing them up.
Indie game and AAA game are not interchangeable terms in my opinion. Because an indie studio can make an indie game that has a AAA budget.
Okay, you just said they didn't go to, if it has a AAA budget, it can't be an indie game.
I don't agree with that.
Well, Jack, you just said an indie game does not mix with a AAA.
No, what I said was an independent studio can produce an independent game with a AAA budget.
So then what is AAA?
I don't see why that's not possible.
What is AAA?
Whatever your definition of it is.
No, I'm asking you what is yours.
You saying a budget, so I'll say a budget. If it has a certain budget, it's independently developed regardless of the budget.
So let me ask you this.
Let me ask.
It was funded by someone else.
Well, let me ask him this. So my favorite game, Destiny. Bungie made it. Are they an independent studio, Jack, right now?
Currently, yes.
Were they an independent studio when Activision gave them that $500 million to make that game?
No, they was owned by Activision at that point.
No, they weren't. They never were owned by Activision.
No,
they were just partnered with Activision, and Activision partnered with them to give them $500 million to make the game.
That was a joint partnership.
Yeah, but they never owned them. They just helped with the development of the game.
Same shit.
So are they an indie developer? I mean, I don't think anybody in here will say Destiny's not a AAA game. I mean, it's definitely it's definitely a AAA game.
If they were independent when they made their game, yes, that's an indie game. The Gears of War original trilogy.
Let me ask you this. So Jackson, are you pretty much saying that an indie game is just simply a game made by an independent developer, regardless of budget? It's just pretty much the status of the developer. If the developer was indie on their own and they made a game, then that game is an indie game.
Look, I'm just going.
I'm asking.
Absolutely, because if you go on the PlayStation Store and go under indie games, you will see games that not only PlayStation owns the IP, they fully funded them. They'll still fuck around and say, "Oh,
it don't matter if they fully funded them; it's how much they funded." AAA is a matter of, like you just said, Destiny is a AAA game, not an indie game, even though you admit that Destiny is an independent studio.
It's an indie game, bro. Honestly, this indie shit is really how literal you take the term. Because Epic Games was not owned by Microsoft when they made the original Gears of War trilogy. Those are AAA games, and they were developed independently from Microsoft besides funding. So, it just depends how
that's why they are Triple A is because of the size of the funding, Jack.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to tell you.
But it's still independently developed, though.
Like, I would give you a game that was like a indie studio with an indie budget, like something like No Man's Sky. People think that game had a huge budget.
That's a perfect
they
example.
made that game. They
Yes.
made that game with a $10 million budget. The only reason it seemed like it was worth more is because Sony was marketing the crap out of that game. But that studio was an independent studio that was just in a marketing deal with PlayStation to market the game, but they funded that game their entire self under $10 million. And that's the definition of what an indie studio is with an indie game.
Well,
and that's what and you wouldn't think No Man's Sky is an indie game, but it is.
It's the scale on the budget. Like right now, Naughty Dog made Lost Legacy. That is not a AAA game. That is a AA game. It's from a AAA studio, but they made a AA game because of the budget. It's not a AAA game because the budget was too small.
So wait a minute.
Let me ask you this. Jack Wolf, let me ask you.
No, stop. Okay, so let me get this straight. Naughty Dog is a AAA studio.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they can make they made AAA games, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So they can make a AA game, but an independent developer can't make a AAA game. Am I
they can, which is what I've been trying to tell you. But you said an independent developer can only make indie games.
You just said that.
Never said that.
No, you just said Destiny is an indie game.
It's an indie
game.
With
$500 million budget.
a AAA budget is what I'm saying.
I personally think you guys. I don't think both of y'all are wrong. To be honest with you, independent game is something that is self-published. That's just the. It doesn't matter about the budget. It doesn't matter about any of that. If you self-publish your game, that is independent.
That is one version of it. One version also publish it, and you can still be indie.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the budget doesn't matter. What I'm saying is an independent game and a AAA game can be one and the same. That's pretty much what I'm saying. That's my point.
But you just saying it. Like, what data are you using to substantiate that claim?
Because it's still independently developed.
Again, so Jack, you have an independent studio, so there's a classification of the studio is an indie, but then the game that they build also has a classification.
Okay, so if an independent
is Lost Legacy a AAA game?
Let's just according to you, it's a AA. So I'm gonna say it's a AA. So
I think most people will agree it is a smaller AA game with a smaller budget.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Just as a hypothetical. If a company comes out of nowhere, they're not owned by anybody, it's just a game company, and they say, our first game, we're funding it ourselves, it has a $500 million budget, right?
That is a AAA game. Absolutely.
And it's made by what?
By an independent developer.
So what's the conversation? That's what
I'm trying to tell you the status of the developer could be independent, but the status of the game is AAA. You are saying an independent developer only makes independent games.
I agree with that. We
agree on the same page. Yeah, on the same page.
We've been agreeing for like 20 minutes.
No, but I think it's the term indie game. I think that's really what we're discussing.
Yeah.
What is the definition of indie game? Is it simply a designation of games made by an independent developer, or is it a status of budget? I think Optimus is saying that the term indie game is a budgetary term, while you're arguing that indie game is just simply a game based on the status of the developer. And I think that's what. So you two are arguing two different points. Optimus Code is arguing from a perspective of budget. You're arguing from a perspective of status. And I think that's where you both are. And that's what I noticed between the conversation. Optimus trying to say this game can be indie because the budget is more than what an indie game. But your arguing is this game is indie simply because the developer who made it is independent.
Right, and I think I tried to show the counter example that a AAA studio doesn't make.
So here's my question, and I'm gonna ask this to Jack Mujani. All right, so we're gonna use Visceral Games, the creator of Dead Space, right?
Okay.
They worked under EA. You know, they were part of EA Studios. They were developers for EA, right?
Okay.
So they're owned by EA. They got funding from EA. Is Dead Space 1, 2? Did they make 3? I think they made 3, right? God,
they made 3.
So are those games indie games?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, cool. They also made a game called Dead Space Ignition, which was on the Xbox Arcade.
Yeah, I played that.
It was good.
Is that game considered an indie game?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right, that's all I was just asking. I was just wondering. I just wonder, like, how many people will consider Ignition an indie game though?
No. I think me and Optimus are agreeing because even though it seems like we disagree, he agrees that an independent developer can make a AAA budgeted game. So, like,
yes, I definitely agree with that.
Oh, there you
Absolutely.
go.
Look at Hellblade.
I definitely agree with that.
So there you go. I mean, it ain't no
Nah, I think like I would say this. I look at it from a perspective of when I think of indie game, I don't think of it as the developer. I just think of the game itself. Like if I see them top down smash TV looking 2D sprite, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that motherfucker's indie. Even if Naughty Dog made it, I'm like, fucking Naughty Dog fucking around with indie games and shit. Fuck are they doing? You know what I'm saying? That's and I think that's like maybe an amateur way of thinking it, but I understand what you're talking about. But I see what you're talking about, Smooth. I mean, Jack, you simply are saying if you're an independent studio and technically CD Projekt Red falls in that bill, any game that they make is an indie game because they're doing it themselves without somebody else helping it. But they could also be at the level of AAA because they're funding it themselves or whatever the fuck they do. I see what you guys get. Interesting conversation. That's why I was interested in the conversation because like my amateur way of looking at it is if I see Resoho, oh, that shit's indie. I don't give a fuck if Santa Monica made it. It's an indie. I don't care who made it. Rockstar can make it. It's fucking indie. You know, and you can't change my mind. It's a fucking indie game. You know, or what's that Fallout game? Fallout Shelter.
Oh yeah,
that's a fucking indie game. I don't care if Bethesda made it. It's indie.
How do you view Ori and the Blind Forest? Do you view that as an indie game?
Yeah, it's indie.
They don't even own Moon Studios.
Definitely an indie game. I mean, stuff like Bleeding Edge.
But the thing is, that's not an indie game.
It's indie.
Ori is not an indie game.
Man, that shit's indie.
Yes, it is.
You can run that shit. Man, you can run that shit on the PS1. That shit indie.
Yeah,
no, Microsoft don't own it, but it's published by them.
Yeah, but see the thing that's another whole other thing to publish it. I don't really wait to publish it with it.
That's what determines indie game. Really look at what an indie game is about the publishing. Who is self-publishing, who is budgeting this game. That's independent, not the game. How the game look is not.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not even close to being true. That whole idea at Xbox is a bunch of independent games with small budgets that are being published by Xbox, and Sony also publishes small independent games.
In Japan, Sony publishes a lot of like third-party games that you wouldn't even know. Like I forgot what game it was, but like they publish shit like what the fuck? That ain't no PlayStation game. But you see what I'm saying? So like I don't know.
Jack, I got a question for you because these niggas was coming at me on any given
Sunday. Hey, before you ask that question, super chat, Mr. Miz says Xbox guy here, but y'all are the most logic PS dudes out here. Great podcast. Glad you're enjoying the show.
Sir.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. And we got Forget Me Not. So, Insomniac was an indie AA dev until Spider-Man because their games didn't cost as much as a AAA game? Oh, no, that's not true at all. Resistance?
No, that's definitely not true.
Fuse? Even Ratchet and Clank. AA, yeah, they had AA games, but I don't think Resistance was a AA game though. That shit had multiplayer. Yeah, they were second party, yes, but they like Resistance was AAA game. Fuse was also a AAA game, maybe not successful, but yeah, I would not call them. I mean, Sunset Overdrive. I didn't like it, but that's AAA games as terms of budget. All right, well, Optimus, go ahead. What you were gonna say?
Yeah, my question for Jack, because everybody keep giving me smoke about it. Apparently, Jack, you don't like collecting platinums no more, and because you abandoned it, no other niggas can like platinums either. You done gave them up. You gave us the ghost?
You know what, man? That's another problem I got. I don't even feel like getting into it right now, man. But yeah, I don't like how they kind of devaluing trophy collecting, in my opinion. With no more difficulty related trophies in their first party games. I don't know, man. I kind of like how they do it.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a rule. Ever since God of War 2018, I saw the little paperwork that came out with.
I didn't even know that.
They can only add difficulty-related trophies in DLC trophies, so it can't be a trophy that's going towards the platinum. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's
okay. So in Spider-Man New Game Plus, you have to beat it on Ultimate to get the New Game Plus 100%, but you can get the platinum without that.
Without you, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't think that was a thing, Jack, until I was going through my achievements and I was showing somebody one of the Destiny, how to get one of the ones in Destiny, and it was the flawless raider achievement that you had to get by like not dying in a fire team in a raid. And they literally changed the way that trophy reads now. It's literally all you got to do is beat a Nightfall strike now in the game. And don't even have to beat it flawless. You just have to beat it. And you get
they're removing the skill based component.
Yeah, they removed the skill based one. I was like, I mean, can I get like an asterisk or something, like a gold star that shows that I actually got this trophy the right way?
They did that in The Last of Us on PS3 when the DLC maps came out. It was a trophy for every single map. You had to, I think you had to get like 4 or 8 kills without dying. But it was, I guess people was having trouble complaining when they changed to where you just had to play the map. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I went through the trouble of getting these trophies like legit, and then you change the requirements to you just got to play the game. I don't know.
That's just like
that would be annoying. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like them taking the I don't know if they did, but that's like for me one of my favorite achievements was the one in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the Mile High achievement, where you had to race through the plane to get to the president at the end, and you had 30 seconds to go through 3 floors. It took me like 7 or 8 hours of doing that to get in. I was proud to get that achievement. And that's like, if they ever removed that achievement and made it so it was like a minute or something to do it, I'll be like, I'll feel some type of way about it. I ain't gonna lie.
They've been doing little stuff like that. It kind of irked me, man. I mean, the thing about trophies is that, first of all, they're optional, so you don't have to get them. Secondly, trophies are not meant for everybody. When you watch sports at the end of the season, they don't give everybody a goddamn championship, right? So why is everybody eligible to get this goddamn platinum? I don't get it, bro.
That's true. Yeah, if you want a trophy, in my opinion, go hunt or fish or do something. Yeah, the game is just to be enjoyed. The trophy to me is a side thing. It's like the garlic mashed potatoes to your steak.
As optional. Nah, they make it. I
gotta get my trophies, man. Y'all, we play. It takes 2, and ain't no trophy pop. I got scared. I had to look it up. I was like, "What the fuck going on?"
Yeah, they stand with the trophy on that. Yeah, they stand with the trophies.
I'm with you, Jay. Like, if I'm playing the game, I'm trying to get the platinum for it, and that's why I've started playing all my multi-plats on PlayStation, because I'm gonna get that reward for every single game that I play. Period.
Did you get my question earlier on Twitter?
No.
What were some of the benefits of streaming in assets on games, and then what are some of the downfalls or pitfalls if you're going to stream?
We do not have enough time left to go over that. But
I was just for
we had 12 o'clock. Y'all niggas lucky that I'm.
I'm off tomorrow. This one later.
Y'all think this is the council days back in the day? What's going on over here, P-Rock?
Yeah, we trying to have an ID at Xbox or something.
Yo.
We trying to stay up to them PlayStation numbers come out, I guess. I don't know, man.
P-Rock, I know what P-Rock did. He wanted to do his podcast and wait until Godzilla vs. Kong come out on HBO Go. Using us.
That comes out now. That's out now.
I know. That's why you don't see him. He said it up. He set his TV up.
I'm going back to see that again at the theater. So because that was fun to watch. But that's a
there's a lot of idiots in the chat, man. I know they just saying dumb shits for attention, but you guys are dumb as fuck. I'm sorry.
What's going on in the chat?
Yo, there's a lot of idiots in there, man. Especially that Rizzle Diz dude. He is a dummy.
Rizzle.
I'm sorry, bro.
Hey, man, shout out to the viewers, man. Shout out to you.
Idiot.
Yeah, they mustn't hear Jay say he had his Timbs on.
Yeah, man.
Where'd Rock go?
He's setting up his HBO Go. I'm telling you, he went to go set HBO Go.
Well, I guess you the host, Jay, man. You're going to have to go and take us out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yo, it's your only friend on YouTube.
your only friend in these YouTube streets.
Yeah. Which I've never seen a YouTube street in my life, but yeah.
So, Jack, what's your feeling on PlayStation on a scale of 1 to 10?
Man, if I'm being honest, bro, I mean, I'm still liking the games that's coming out, bro. It's just all the extra shit, man. Like, if you notice, bro, it's always like some slick bad news, bro. Like, I'm tired of that shit. It's always some, you know what I mean? Like they came out like, oh, we coming out with PSVR, but it's delayed. Oh, this game coming to PC. It's always just some bad console news, but it's like positive for everybody else type shit. I don't know, man. I ain't been.
Yo, I agree with you, Zach, man. I don't like the marketing for PlayStation currently because they be coming out with these half-ass articles. Everybody always say I'm over-exaggerated and I'm looking at it crazy. I know they're not going to buy a VR anyway, but that first VR announcement, half-ass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then when they show the controller, everybody's like, CJ, bye, see, I tell you, no, motherfucker. And the shit was half-ass black picture with a PlayStation symbol, bullshit. Even the chick when she announced her coming to Haven Studios, what's her name? Jade Raymond, half-ass. Yo, I don't want to read this chick's biography of what she's going down and to let me know, oh, we're making a PlayStation game. Can't say shit though. Yo, when you have something to say, then say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yo, PS4, the announcements, PlayStation was announcing games 3 years, 2 years down the line, giving you details of the games. You read those blog articles, you had a lot to talk about. Everybody in these podcasts that have podcasts now, oh, Jade Raymond coming to new studio. All right, next news. Yeah, it's a half-ass fucking article. Bullshit.
So you just want them to keep quiet about it?
No, the way how they're doing stuff is I don't like the half-assness, man. Just come out fully with a proper announcement. Like if the VR stuff is not ready where you want to announce it, don't tell us, yo, can't wait to announce news later, but we're working on VR too. No, wait till you have the controller, everything up that you can show, then announce, hey guys, we're working on VR too. Here's the controller. That would have been a better article.
Like little small nuggets, you want like the whole meal.
I don't like that bullshit. I don't like that bullshit. The first VR announcement pissed me off. I was like, yo, what is this? It's not the PlayStation that was 7 years PS4, like proper. Yo, nobody was complaining about the marketing in PS4. That shit was.
Well, I mean, the marketing is different now because we've been in a pandemic. So there's no way to do it grand the way either Microsoft wants to do it and or Sony.
Great. I'm talking about a blog article. What I'm saying is that they came out with the VR announcement with nothing to show for it. They just gave you once again the black, picture with a PlayStation symbol and told you, we love VR. Can't wait to announce the next VR.
The PS5 logo, Jay. They just released the logo.
Yeah, they did. I'm gonna say this.
I didn't like that either.
For the most part, I kind of agree with Jay Bari, except in particular to the PSVR. Because I'll be honest, and the reason why traditionally I was always the gamer that for majority of the consoles, I like buying these aftermarket abilities. I was the dude with the bazooka for Nintendo, Power Glove, U-Force, 3D glasses from Sega Master System or Genesis, and yet time and time again, those not third party, but aftermarket enhancements, whatever, always failed. They never stood the test of time, right? And I think even talking to Jay Bari, I was suspect about PSVR because I'm like, watch that bullshit just happen. I buy into another enhanced gaming experience, gaming better. Then when I buy it, they kill it off because not enough games are sold. And that's traditionally what happens to all these aftermarket stuff, right? Developers don't want to buy into it because, like, for example, why would you make a game that only 5 million people can play when you can make a game where 100 million people have access, right? And that was my biggest fear, right? So after the PSVR, I bought it. I absolutely love it. You have to admit, before the announcement, things kind of like slowed down for PSVR. It got quiet. And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, this is probably not going to push forward. And in my mind, I thought Sony was going to move on from it. That announcement gave me, now I know they're double down, they're all in. So I'm kind of happy that they made that announcement because now I got that off my back. Could they done a better announcement? Of course, but at least I know they're gonna invest in PSVR, which means now I have no issues with continuing to buy VR games. That's off my back. That's one thing I ain't got to worry about. They're all in on VR. I'm moving on from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I agree
Now,
with you with that. I
the
just
Jade
think it's
Raymond
better.
thing, I agree. I didn't like that because that doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just like, oh, Jay Raymond got a new studio. Prepare for a new game. All right. Gee, thanks.
Yeah, but that's a big deal within the industry.
That's a really big deal.
She got clout, yo. That's why they did that.
No, that is a really big deal.
That's a big deal.
A bigger deal was
It would have been a bigger deal with a game announcement.
Yes,
Throw a concept arts.
I think-
Something.
like here's the thing, right? What does that announcement really do? It didn't do anything. Like, it's not like, oh, you're trending on Twitter, so we're gonna give you an extra $25 million.
That's not true, Rock.
Is it? Did they do that?
What if Microsoft right now announced we just hired Neil Druckmann, but we don't know what game he gonna make, but we're setting up a studio for Neil Druckmann. Is that big news or not?
Yeah,
absolutely.
But that's different.
Okay,
though.
she is of that level.
No, she's not.
And for the
No, she's
people,
not.
yes, she. Okay,
No,
so
no,
for
she's
the
not.
people that
All right, I'm gonna tell you. Maybe
I had to Google her.
maybe to you and the professional industry, yes. To the gamers, no. What was her?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'd say it's a big
I'm gonna
deal
ask you.
within that circle.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you right now. What was her last big game that she made?
well, I can't really speak on that.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know.
It's
Like
way more to it than that.
No, but listen.
She is like.
I
She
understand.
Is, like, real. She is a wonderful person. She is like very talented.
Of course,
though.
Of
And
course.
is
Listen,
just
she got skill. She created.
She's now in a situation where
She created Assassin's Creed.
all of that can come to fruition. Yeah,
She created
look at
Assassin's
she,
Creed.
like she's been set free. Yeah.
She created Assassin's Creed. So I understand her legacy. But I ain't gonna put her on the same level as Neil Druckmann, who just released The Last of Us 2, and it's the most awarded game in history. You understand what I'm saying? There's like two different things. Not taking anything away from her, but what I'm trying to say is
what you're saying about
what I'm trying to say is.
All right, let me rephrase my question. Say this is 5 years ago, and Microsoft announced that they got Neil Druckmann. Like, this is a big deal, regardless. That talent is that talent. And when you grab that
So let
talent-
me say this. Didn't Microsoft announce, well, even they kind of showed a game, but bad example. The whole point is this. Wouldn't it better to just let her develop the game, develop the studio, and then along with her announcement that a studio opened up, let me show you the game I'm working on. Instead of just
again,
they're not mutually exclusive. They can still do that.
I'm looking at her bio right now, and clearly
It would have been
she's
a
working
better
on one
announcement.
game.
It would have
But
been a
she
better
was the-
announcement if you had something there as far as, hey, we're working on this game. Here's concept art or something.
No, Sony
Okay,
has
so if
said
you were
they were.
saying, go ahead, Craig.
perfect example. I'll give you a perfect example.
Look,
Go ahead.
Sony has said they were investing in studios ground up. This is a perfect example. It says she worked on a shit ton of games. She was the SVP Group General Manager of Star Wars Battlefront 2. But it says Raymond found it. Raymond found it. That was 17. Raymond found it.
Y'all don't play that game. Y'all don't play that game.
Yeah.
Okay, so a new independent studio, there's the word independent for you ninjas up here, on 2021 with Sony Interactive investing in the studio. She doesn't walk into Sony and get that type of money without a big pimp hand. So this is a big deal, and it shows you that Jim Ryan said we were investing on studios, ground up to work with us. That's what he's doing.
I'll give you a perfect example. Sony did not go on Twitter and announce, hey, Insomniac is making a Spider-Man game. Stay tuned. They didn't do that.
Sure. They didn't announce who?
Sony did not go, hey, Insomniac is making Spider-Man and it's exclusive to PS4. Stay tuned. They did not do that. The first announcement that we saw was an actual trailer live on E3 on stage, and the world was blown. Because it was more than just Insomniac making the Spider-Man game. But we actually saw it, and people visually saw, like, holy shit. Like, this is a big deal, and we see it. It wasn't simply a Twitter announcement. It was like, boom. We got Insomniac. We made a deal with Marvel, and here's the product. Like, when you think about it, that E3 announcement was multiple things. Number one, Insomniac is back to making an exclusive game for PlayStation. That's number one. Number 2, Sony took over the rights of Spider-Man. No one predicted that. And number 3, they're already deep into developing it. Here it is. Take a good look. That's 3 huge announcements in just one announcement in the stage, right? They got the rights to Spider-Man, Insomniac is developing it, and it's a PlayStation exclusive. Something that hasn't happened. I can't even remember the last time a Spider-Man game was exclusive to one platform. I can't even remember, if ever. All of that shit was like on E3 in our face. It's like, holy shit. Now, Jay Raymond's making a game someday. There's a tweet. Like, oh, gee, thanks. So I can understand what Jay Barr's talking about. Like, it's not really exciting. Is she making a low budget? Like,
I'm gonna go on the record and say it's not exciting for you and Jay Barry, but there are plenty of people that this is very exciting news for.
But like, all right. So tell me what. Like, I trolled. All right. So don't listen. Nobody pull receipts on me on Twitter. That don't count. I talk shit on Twitter. Right.
Right. Twitter don't count. Facts.
All right. I talk shit. Right. Everybody knows 70% of my Twitter tweets are to rile up people. Right. And get people going. Right. But in reality, what is there exciting about? Like what?
Again, I can't really say too much, but it is a person with extreme creative ability that has finally been set free and has the full support of the Sony machine.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that then.
Yeah.
All right.
Like when these announcements that y'all talking about do drop, you will understand why they went ahead and let the industry know we got this locked up.
I got it. I know. But Jack Move, like, do you feel anything exciting over this? Like, are you breaking out the tissue paper and lotion? Like,
absolutely.
Wow.
I didn't like any of the other games she, I guess pioneered or worked on. I didn't give a fuck. So, and she just got laid off by Google Stadia like 2 months ago. I didn't you know what I mean? Like, what are we really hyped about, man?
Like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So I could feel like the only exception is the VR, because I needed to know if Sony was still doing VR. I needed to know. I just needed to know. And the way they've been handling information, I'm glad that I know not only are they double down, but they investing in a new controller. They are really into it, and that made me happy. So, but like these game announcements, I really hate like some of these announcements. Oh, we bought this studio. All right. Yay. Like, what are you doing? What are you making? Like, show me the game. Like the way they did with Insomniac. It was all encompassing. You knew Insomniac's making Spider-Man. Sony got to deal with Spider-Man, and they presented it, and it was just 100% knocked it out the park. Now it's like, I don't know. I blame Microsoft, because they're the ones that always come out with those stupid. It's them. They started that shit. They just make announcements of announcements, and I hate that shit. And they started that bullshit. Now Sony's doing it. It's just annoying. Like, ugh. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't like that joint, man.
All right. So before we leave, I just want to bring up some good news, because I think we destroyed PlayStation this podcast. Can we at least give a little love to Insomniac and what they're doing? Like, can we give props to this studio? Like, this studio is coming out with a new AAA game in June. They brought out one of the best bangers at launch with Miles Morales. They constantly improving this game to this day. Now they said they're adding another suit, and they're, the muscle deformation. They're improving some mechanics into it. They did 60 frame ray tracing to the game. They're doing an update to a free game, Ratchet & Clank, so now you get to play at 60 FPS. Like, yo, these dudes are out here doing the Lord's work. Jack Move. Can we at least say Insomniac is saving the Titanic right now?
Oh man, absolutely. all the problems I got with PlayStation and Insomniac is like a fucking shining red light on a piece of shit right now. Like, bro, they haven't done anything besides charging for Spider-Man Remastered, which of course we know Sony made them do that. Yeah. Man, all the moves they've been doing is, awesome. And then, we still waiting on the Gorilla to give us the PC patch for Horizon. We still waiting on Naughty Dog to do any fucking thing with the PS5. But on the other hand, we got Insomniac, not only did they put out, a great Miles Morales game at launch, they're bringing out Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, you know what I mean? They're putting patches on all their old games to run at 60 frames. They even put a new patch out on Spider-Man to have like suit deformation or whatever. Hey man, what have they not done? You know what I mean? Like this
during the pandemic. During the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I salute.
You make a great point. Like, all right, maybe The Last of Us, whatever, but Horizon, right? Like Guerrilla. What the fuck are they waiting for to updating Horizon? Especially when technically, rumor still has it, the game is coming out still this year, right? Supposedly it's not, delayed. So, like, you're gonna release the patch the day before Horizon, Forbidden West comes out? Like, the fuck are you waiting for? Like, if anything, that's gonna gain more traction to the game. Am I wrong or some shit?
No.
Sound good to me.
Like, like Insomniac is the Derek Jeter of this shit. This team is putting in that work.
Yeah, they are.
Like, what is it? Gaming Forte. Oh, I need to bring him back in. Oh, is he? Hey, Forte, you around? Or you muted? You gone?
Yeah, I'm here.
What you think about Insomniac?
No, is it?
Insomniac?
Yeah. Like, right now, you see what they're doing, right? They released one of the top games at launch. They updated the game, gave you performance mode. And then they said, you know what? We're going to give you performance mode with ray tracing, right? Ratchet and Clank is free. They updated the game to 60 FPS now, right?
Yep.
And they're releasing a new AAA game in June, which is supposed to show off the power of the SSD.
Yeah, well, I always thought Insomniac was like the money that they spent on them was money well spent because they were probably the most consistent developer they had that wasn't even under PlayStation's umbrella that brought a bunch of games to them this generation. And on top of that, they actually made another game, like you said, they made Sunset Overdrive on Xbox. So they have been the most consistent and most like hard-working developer of the generation to me when it came to what they've been doing. So I've always been super impressed with what they were able to do, and the fact that they have 2 AAA games in Spider-Man. Even though some people say Miles Morales was just more of a DLC add-on, I mean, it's still a great game, and who cares if it was an add-on and they just broke it out to be its own thing?
Oh, and they remastered Spider-Man too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They did extra smart. So they did all of that stuff. And then on top of that, we're getting Ratchet and Clank in the first year of the PlayStation 5 coming out. We didn't even, like I said, we were talking about Naughty Dog and Santa Monica. We got, 2 games out of Naughty Dog and 1 game out of Santa Monica, but we got 2 games in the first year of a generation during a pandemic that they're actually giving us. So I think they were worth every dollar that was spent on them. And I also think that, you need to really pay attention to what they're actually doing because I'm a huge fan of Ratchet and Clank and I'm super excited to play what they have coming out. But overall, I can't say anything bad about that. I was just happy that they finally got the opportunity to be a part of somebody's development house because I know Ted Price for the longest was like, we don't want to be bought. I want to stay independent. And I think he finally went to the developer or to the publisher that made sense to them because they tried to go off on their own. They tried to do Fuse. They did Sunset Overdrive with Xbox, but they always had great success under the PlayStation moniker. And, I think they're where they need to be and they continue to keep making those games like they're doing. They're going to be perfectly fine.
All right. Hey, Optimus, from a developer perspective, right? So take a look at this, right? So since November, all the way up to June, that's like 8 months, right? November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, so 8 months about, right? Within that 8-month period, they released a remaster of Spider-Man, released Miles Morales on 2 platforms, right? The one on the PS5, they had a performance mode and fidelity mode. And then later on, they released ray tracing performance mode. So now you got ray tracing at 60 frames. Then they're updating Ratchet and Clank Remake, right, at 60 FPS. They're adding new content to Miles Morales again, a new suit, and improving muscle deformation. And they're releasing a AAA game in June, which is supposed to be the first example of what they can do with, game design and with the SSD and how fast they can feed data. This is what they can do as a first example before anybody else on the PlayStation platform, right?
Yes, sir.
In this 8-month window, how efficient and well organized is this studio to accomplish that? Because when you think about it, that's very efficient and organized. And then during the pandemic too, Like, in your opinion, from a developer, how challenging is that to do so much things and still release a brand new game, AAA game, on time?
Exactly. Like, you don't need no developer to tell you. On your own, you can see how phenomenal what they doing is under these circumstances. Man, it's just incredible. They have top-notch management. Clearly, somebody has all their ducks in a row, and they're making sure that things happen on time. They're making sure that when people are working from home, they have the things that they need to be productive, and they're making sure that everyone stays motivated. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're absolutely killing it.
You know what? To add to that, Cole, I think the biggest thing that people aren't that kind of miss with Insomniac is the fact that they don't try to like do things that they know they can't do. They have great expectations for what they know they can actually get out in a timely manner. And I think that's the thing a lot of these developers have been doing. Like being an Xbox fan and knowing that Halo got delayed, it was because of just expectations of what they thought they could and could not do in a game. But when you have your expectations in check and you understand, like, yo, we got to kind of scale this stuff back. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world. We got people working from home. We still want to be able to get these games out in a timely manner. I think from top to bottom, they just did everything that they needed to do as a development house to make sure that their games still are at a high quality, but they don't live outside of the expectations that they already set for themselves as a studio in full.
Yep. And they are keeping everybody motivated. You don't get work like this when people don't want to come to work.
Right.
They must have created an amazing environment to make games in, because that's a lot of stuff they're doing. I mean, I didn't even expect a 60 FPS patch for Ratchet and Clank remake.
Exactly.
And it wasn't either.
I mean, the fact that it was free, I thought that was just more than enough. All right, you get a free game. But they even bothered to update it, to at least, that's crazy. And then they still
released it early.
Right? Yeah, that's true. Like, it was like they announced it yesterday and then actually released it today. Like, and the Spider-Man is still a new announcement. Like, a new suit. Like, goddamn, I feel like playing that game again just for the new suit, man.
Yeah, I think it's new suit only on PS5.
Yeah. Forget Me Not says Horizon 60F patch will come April when it's free. And oddly enough, thank you for the super chat. Morgan Kimes also said, I feel like HDD will get the next gen patch when it comes out for free next month. Interesting. Maybe that would be big news. Like, the day it launches for free, that same day they announce, hey, along with that, you're gonna get these upgrades for free.
It's only right they do that.
Because I gotta feel they right. They gotta give us something, right? But I feel they're trying. Like, if they really want more people to buy Horizon Forbidden West, I guess at this point, the game is gonna sell to whoever. There's really no more people to sell to, right? Like for the Horizon Zero Dawn, it got released on PC. They bought it. Got pirated to hell as well. On PlayStation, who are you gonna really sell the game to? At least I think if you now giving it away and maybe add the next gen patch, people can now see what to look forward to Horizon Zero Dawn, because there's a lot of people that don't buy every game, right? Well, there's multiplayer, whatever.
Right.
So there's just some people who don't like certain games, no matter what, right? Some people don't like Uncharted. Some people don't like Spider-Man, right? The game didn't sell 100 million, right? But if you give it for free, and if you do a patch, maybe you might bite. That one person who had no interest be like, you know what? It's free. Let me just bite. It's no harm other than a download, right? And then they might be like, holy shit, I actually like this game. I'm going to buy Forbidden West day one. And I think that's the angle Sony might do it, right? I would like to think they're trying to do the same thing with PC gamers, right? With a combination of 60 frames per second, better visuals, better graphics, at a cheap price starting at $399, I think Sony maybe, and this is just my opinion, I have no facts, I have no data, this is just me thinking, right? Throwing blind darts at a wall, right? That maybe they feel, you know what? Some PC gamers, maybe because PS4 wasn't a powerful console, was very weak, they had no interest. But maybe they see the performance of the PS5 and we give them a taste of, hey, this is what we're offering if you get our console. Maybe a PC gamer would be like, you know what? At $399, 60 frames per second, ray tracing, it's not a bad second console to play all these games day one.
Right.
I might bite. Maybe not to convert them, but to make PlayStation as part of their,
like
gaming.
A companion console.
Yeah. Because hardcore PC gamers, they're not going to cut over to console. It's not going to happen. They love their frames. Right. They got to have their frames. But if they see, you know what, at $399, 60 frames, sure, it's not native 4K, but checkerboarding's pretty good. And a lot of PC gamers, I don't think, the ones on Twitter, the PC Master Race, they're going to act like that. But most PC gamers are cool with 1440p resolution. Just as long as they get their frames and the graphical settings, that's all they care about. You understand what I'm saying? They see a $399 PS5 console, 60 frames, and the graphics look good. At $399, that's not a bad companion console. At $399, it isn't. Especially if you get.
I think it's a perfect fit for those people because they're already used to an all digital ecosystem. Exactly. So $399 for that system, they'll look at it like I'm not losing anything. So I agree 100% with that.
So I would like to think that's maybe Sony's first attempt to try to gain at least some more traction. Especially with ray tracing, 60 frames, performance mode. That's just a lot of things console never really had at the start. You know what I'm saying? Especially the PS4, it was primarily a 30 frame console. Most of the games were 30 frames.
The biggest thing I will say is they need to promote this type of stuff. Like, the reason I think Xbox gets a lot of pub on that is because they talk about it constantly. I think a lot of people might get tired. Like you said earlier, you said you wish they would just be quiet about certain things. But the one thing that they do, they promote the crap out of stuff like their features and stuff, having FPS boosts and automatic 4K upgrades to your older games and stuff, After a while, that conversation gets louder and louder, and I think that's the difference between Xbox and PlayStation. PlayStation really doesn't promote that stuff. No. Some people will tell you PS Now might be a better value than Xbox Game Pass just because it has more games in it. It's literally a quarter of the price. But since Sony doesn't talk about it, it's like a mute point. So that's the thing that I want as a gamer. I want because it's all about competition for me. Like if Xbox is only doing what they're doing, it's because Sony forced them to do it. Yeah. Now it's time for Sony to kind of look at what Xbox is doing. Is like, okay, what do we need to do to combat this? You don't have to go out and buy like 80 studios or anything. You already got the studios to show, that gamers that this is what I want to do. But the difference is they're talking about things that you're not talking about that could be a benefit for you, and I just don't know why that is.
So great point with the PS Now Game Pass. One thing, like, it is true, Sony does not advertise it, so there's just a perceived notion that it's not a good service. Like, I don't care for either or, but when I noticed when Microsoft, they finalized the purchase with Bethesda, the first thing they did, they advertised Bethesda games. Oh, you could play Fallout 4, you could play Doom, you could play Wolfenstein, you could play Evil Within, and everybody's like, oh man, Game Pass is game, look at all these Bethesda games, and I'm thinking, these games were already on PS Now, though. Like they're literally on the service. Like, you could have been played all these games on PS Now. They're already there. But again, if you don't advertise it, most people didn't know. Again, I'm not going to go out there and advertise PS Now because I don't advertise shit that I don't like. If I don't like it, then I don't really talk about it. Like, that's why I never jumped on, Gran Turismo or Vita. I just don't care. Like, I'm not gonna simply advertise PS Now and me not use it or me actually care about it, right? But like I said, like, Sony doesn't really advertise PS Now, and again, like, it's clearly these two companies have two different focuses, right? I think Sony's still on that big AAA hype train, and then Microsoft already merged with the Game Pass, played on Game Pass day one on whatever device. It's gonna be interesting how that folds out over the next 2 years.
Yeah, and even if you don't, like you said, because I don't have PS Now because it's just way too many services to have on top of everything else. Yeah. But the biggest thing for me is, even if you don't promote it for the fact that you just want people to consistently be in there, at least promote it during the times where you don't have anything coming out. Yeah. It's like, I can understand, we haven't had a game release in months.
No.
So what are you doing to get people like to want to be on your platform when they're walking into stores looking for games? Like, is there any PS5 games?
Months, sir.
Say what? You know what I mean, months. Games that we actually care about. When did Demon's Souls come out?
Okay.
When did Spider-Man come out?
I got you. Yeah.
That's what
like the big AAA. The big
I'm about
AAA
games that we care about, not just games that they just put on the service. Say, hey, here we're throwing this out to the wolves.
Demolition, like Destruction All Stars. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we're not talking about games like that.
Yeah, that ain't it. Forget me not. Insomniac was voted best place to work many times. That is true. I remember reading those articles. And then finally, Vedger says. Horizon Forbidden West is a cross-gen game, and Guerrilla working on getting the most out of Horizon Forbidden West on the lowest denominator PS4. Hold to that HDD 60F PS5 patch. I'm good. Okay. All right. So I guess. Wow, this podcast took a lot longer than I anticipated. Almost 3.5 hours.
Jack, man, causing trouble, arguing and stuff.
That's it. I didn't expect for people to go at Greg though. Like within the first 5 minutes, people were like, "Yo, put me on a podcast. I'm gonna beat his brain now." I'm like, "God damn!" All he said was, "Y'all out here buying $1,000 headsets, but you want to complain about a $70 game? Like, what the fuck?" Y'all out here buying Ferraris, but you don't want to go to Ruth Chris to eat a steak.
Yeah, I'm still standing, but shout out to the guests for coming on. Shout out to Jab Move, Kids Move, and
so we're going to close this out. First, we're going to start out with the guest, Jack Mujani. Hey, thank you so much for rocking out. Let them know where we can find you. Tell them where we can find your merch, all that shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all boys. Definitely a long podcast, but I enjoyed the conversation, so I ain't really tripping. You can check me out on Weapon Wheel Podcast YouTube channel every Sunday. 5:30, what's that, Eastern, I guess. Yeah, 5:30 Eastern. You can check me out every Thursday on the Press Start Podcast. That's 7:30 Central Time. You can catch me on my own channel.
That's like playing for the Yankees and the Mets at the same damn time.
Man, you know what I mean? Spread the love, man. Spread the love, man. Check me out, Jack Mujani on YouTube. You can check out jiggymerch.com. Yeah, man, that's it. Shout out to the chat. We out.
You literally got the website called jiggymerch.com.
Yes, sir. Yes,
how was that not taken already?
I don't know. I had to check
because Jiggy's not a new word. It's like that's like Will Smith. Going back, that word is old as hell. How is Jiggy merch? Yeah, that is crazy.
And it's other Jiggy clothing brands too. I found that. So I'm surprised that wasn't taken. Yeah.
Yo, so you snapped that shit up real quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to get that.
All right. The next guest that came in the ring to jump on the Messiah.
Hold on, man, real quick. I just need to know how come Jack don't have no old school rappers on this freestyle battle.
Oh, you do be right. Hey, if you want to come,
no, this cool. Ain't no love.
I gotta check that out too. So hold up. Yeah. You literally got dudes freestyle rapping on your channel.
Yes, sir. The Jiggy Battle League. Thing in the street.
How did you manage that? Like how?
It's just, I had a few viewers that I knew were like rappers or battle rappers, and somebody brought to me like, why don't you have them dudes battle? I'm like,
we had Kid Smooth.
Yeah.
How you convince Kid Smooth?
Smooth won his.
Smooth actually showed up and showed out. Man, he won his battle. It was impressive.
And you have this on YouTube. I gotta see this.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna see this
out, bro.
I got how did you? This dude's doing verses on YouTube with gamers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This shit is crazy. Like, yo, that is the most.
Trying to branch out, man.
This is some wild shit.
Yes, sir.
Shout out, yo, that shit's crazy. All right, Gaming Forte, you came in, sneak tip with the chair, and try to hit Messiah in the middle of the wrestling match. Thank you for rocking out. Where can we find you? Let us know.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. It's always wanted to come on here. It's just, you be going so late sometimes. I just happen to be off work tomorrow and stuff.
East Coast, so I was like,
right?
East Coast too, right?
Plus your boy Craig was here acting crazy. But yo, Craig, you always my mans though. I know who you are and everything. So just keep doing what you're doing, bro. Old man Code, is always good to be here with you, man. I can't wait to see you on Sunday again. But outside of that, it's Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. Check out my channel and stuff. Talk a lot of Xbox. We do a lot of Destiny stuff over there. We also bring up PlayStation stuff every once in a while. So check us out on that. DPS podcast with me and my man Slow-Mo Backslap is every Thursday at 9 p.m. Man, it's been a hell of a ride for the first 6 months, and it's been great. And then check us out tomorrow on Brat Podcast. Ooh. We have Ryan McCaffrey coming through. The host of Xbox Unlocked. Yeah. I don't remember the last time that man did an interview outside of Xbox Unlocked.
He can't trust y'all. He gets attacked by Xbox dudes the most.
Right.
So feel fortunate. Feel fortunate.
So he gonna come through.
He even says, "Yo, Xbox fans are the hardest on him." He's like, "Holy cow, yo, for real."
Right. Yeah. So he's gonna be through tomorrow at 9 p.m. on the Brad Podcast. But nice. Yeah, man, Porter Rock, appreciate it, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, nobody can argue with this. Is the thing I like about Porter Rock. The man comes with facts, and it's hard to refute the things that he says. And you be trying to refute it, but it's like, dang, I can't argue with that, man. It's a fact.
Hey, Cole tried to help him, and he learned the hard way. Like, yep, this ain't working.
Just keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate it for the invite as always.
All right, appreciate it. Hey, you and Jock Mujani, y'all guest today, but that's it. If you ever show up again, you guys have access to go directly into the live channel. You get your own food in the fridge. Today we served you. I served you beverage and appetizers. Tomorrow, fuck that. Get your own. In fact, while you there, get me a drink. I ain't serving you no. Y'all walk in on your own. You show up when y'all show up. All right, now we're going down the line. Messiah.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me again. Shout out to all the guests that came through. Ash and Luke, Forte, Kid Smooth, and everybody that come on through. Shout out to Code and everybody, and shout out to the chat. A little moist.
You better thank him or you're going to get this work, Craig.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Craig, I don't know what you did, but you got everybody to come on this podcast. I don't know what you did and said, but they were gunning for you.
It's called telling the truth about Xbox. The only person, that's why I am the Messiah, because they come to me and I lead them to their freedom. So, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I'm the only person telling the truth about the Xbox and its capabilities. For some reason today, we got another game come out that runs and looks better on PlayStation, despite the 52 CUs and the 12 T-flops, which means that other dog shit podcast.
You're start another fight. You start another fight. We're trying to wind down. Say that for next week.
They're not telling you the truth. They're not telling you the truth. I am the only one telling you the truth here. And I guess Porter Rock calls them the YouTube streets. But shout out to everybody that came by. Go check out that Kong versus Godzilla movie.
Jay Breezy, the best lives on YouTube.
Yo, man. Great show, man. And see you guys next week.
Definitely, man. And what's on PlayStation? This Saturday.
No spoilers. Spoiler-free episode.
If you guys want to check that stuff out, man, I'm pretty sure you're not going to click the link. Go ahead and find it somewhere and check us out.
I'm just waiting for the bubble to burst where he keeps saying we ain't gonna talk about nothing but PlayStation over here. One day y'all gonna drop the ball.
Yeah. He tried. They tried though. They've been true to the code. We
dropped the ball a little bit.
Did you?
Y'all already dropped the ball. Okay, it's gonna happen again.
It's gonna happen again.
Man, absolutely.
They tried though. They try to keep it just PlayStation. But sometimes there's so much fraud activity. You got to bring it up.
Yeah, like the topics part. We'll mix it up a little bit. But
all right.
It's a good show, though. I love it.
And then, of course, Code. He's out there teaching. He has the channel. He's out there teaching. Even comes with a quiz.
Hey, so about that, yeah. So again, I want to clarify. So I made the channel. I didn't want to make the channel. People have been asking me. I didn't want to make the channel. The whole point of that channel is for education and nothing else. There's no console war stuff there. There is no choosing sides. There is nothing to slant the conversation to give the advantage to one console or the other. The whole point of the channel is just a safe space so people can learn about technology, so they don't have to go tag me or Leviathan or somebody else. Everybody can learn on their own how this stuff works. It's just a free education for everybody. I have had a couple of YouTubers, from prominent YouTubers, like, man, we can send people to your channel. We can collaborate. We can do this and that. And they're like, no, that's not what I want. So let me be very clear. I don't want people coming to the channel because of me. I don't want people coming to the channel because they think I'm cool or I have some whatever it is. I don't know. I don't even care. I only want you going to the channel because you want to learn about video game technology. And if you don't like that content and if that's not what you're there for, then that channel is not for you. Forget about it completely. It is only there for people who want the knowledge. It has nothing to do with me specifically. And I'm also going to have a couple of guests, teachers come and teach quite a few subjects. So the channel is about education. The channel is not about me.
So you can have guest teachers.
Go check it out.
That's like, so you can have guest teachers to pick and teach a topic or talk about a topic. That's actually pretty good.
We got a couple of them lined up already.
That's actually great. That's just going to become like a TED Talk for gaming.
Well, I don't know. It's just if you're interested in learning stuff, the channel's for you. If you're not, then it's not for you.
I'm already off Thursday and I'm still up.
Oh shit. Oh man.
Yeah,
Craig's talking to his booty call. Goddamn. We gotta shut this down before he says something. No, he doesn't know he's not muted. Oh fuck, Craig. This is gonna be one of those Twitch moments.
I'm still up right now. That shift starts in like 5. My bus comes at 5:30.
Be careful what you say,
Craig.
Craig.
Go ahead and boost his audio.
Craig, can't you mute him, bro?
I gotta mute him before he says something crazy. Craig, hold on, Craig. I'm gonna mute you, Craig.
No, I can't because it's.
Oh man, to find out some stuff about Craig.
There you go. Woo! Got him. Saved him. Woo! This was about to be a Twitter moment, trending. Oh man, somebody was about to clip that. Like half the chat was ready to clip that. Oh shit. Anyway, this is your boy Porter Rock 77. Thank you so much for rocking out into this 3.5 hour long podcast and the Craig beatdown. Hey, thank you for all the guests that showed up. Jack Move, thank you for showing up. Forte, Luca, Sister from Another Mister, and then of course the panel. I'll see you guys next week. Prepare for another hot take in a couple of days. But until then, hey, truly appreciate it. Thank you for rocking out. Remember, your only friend is YouTube Streets. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.